Coach's Corner, episode
11.
We're doing so many now that it's hard to keep track, okay? We're doing so many now that it's just hard. It's hard. I don't have a good memory between coaching these boys, trying to athletic direct, and do this show all at one time. Like, I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying. No, guys, we're excited to be back. We've got a jam-packed show. We've got some of the Floyd Central Lady Jaguars here with us. We're going to interview them. And then we've also got Coach Tyler Little here, the coach of the Lady Jaguars. So we're going to get to pick his brain. We'll take it easy on the players. We ain't taking it easy on Coach. Coach has got the tough questions, okay? We're putting him on the spot here. No, but we hope everybody had a great holidays. You know, we're coming into the new year. And one thing is, this is the first show all season that we have started on time. New year, new us. We are starting on time this year.
New Year's resolution.
Okay? You be ready at 6 o'clock, not 6:30 no more. We're here at 6 o'clock from this point forward. All right. Usually we do the recap, but where the last time that we did pick'ems, the games were like 2 and 3 weeks ago. So I'm sure that most of you at home and most of you that are watching has been updated throughout KHSAA. So we're not going to run down all these games, but we hope everybody had a great holidays. And you got anything real quick before I take us to break and get started?
No, I just want same as you. I hope everybody had a great holidays, and I hope you're ready for this show.
Okay, guys, when we come back, we're going to have an interview here with Miss Kaylee Hall, right? Kaylee Hall's up first, and then we're going to have an interview here. So when we come back from this commercial break, we'll be right back.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier. Very special guest, Miss Kaylee Hall. Thanks for being with us today, Kaylee. We appreciate you being here. I'm going to dive on into this. So, this year you're averaging 8.8 points per game. You're also, I hear that you're a big-time track star over at Floyd Central, right? Talk a little bit about how track and basketball relate to each other.
With both, it's a really, I think, a mental game. You have to be mentally tough to compete and be in shape.
Yeah.
Running track to finish the race is basically like finishing the basketball game, the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's really those times a lot together.
Most definitely, you got to be well conditioned. That's a really good answer, I think.
Absolutely.
You guys have, you guys are young. You only have 2 seniors, but you guys are a pretty good team. We got to watch you here at the Jenkins Gym whenever you guys played Jenkins. We're almost halfway through the year, and we know that you guys want to make a postseason push, right? You want to win district, make a push at region, maybe even go to state. What's it going to take from you and your teammates to make that type of run as we each into postseason?
I think we're going to have to be able to play through adversity a little bit better, but just as long as we continue to push to get better each and every day, and like I said, push through adversity, I think we could make a run at the end of the season. Most
definitely. Looking at your all schedule, and I know we're deep into the season, but I know at the start of every year, whether throughout the season, whatever it is, there's always that one team. You circle one team. Me as a coach, I do. I circle one team. I'm like, I don't care. I'm winning this game. Right? Who is that team and why?
I would have to say now would have to be Betsy Lane from the loss before. Just because I think we should have won that game. Definitely could have. I respect them and their team and their program that they have, but I just think we really could win.
Get that one back. Yeah, most definitely.
That's a big thing, wanting to go back and get back at them for getting you when you know that you could have definitely come out on top. I like that. Who's your favorite, college basketball team? Tell me a little bit about why. And it doesn't have to be college. It can be, pro, WNBA, even a favorite player, Tell me a little bit about who it would be and why.
Kentucky. I like Kentucky.
That's a good answer. I always like to hear that, especially with the Louisville fan sitting over here to our left. Tell me a little bit about why is Kentucky's, family roots.
Yeah, family roots, but I've always liked their game, fast-paced kind of.
Yep.
Defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really get the fans into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Out of your years in basketball, what player would you say has been the toughest player you've had to guard? And tell me a little bit about why on that.
I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think.
There's a lot of good players in the 15.
There is a lot of good players.
Most definitely.
Maybe a team. Maybe a team that you played against in the past or this year, maybe.
Well, Betsy Lane has the one girl that's committed to KCU. I'm sure she was tough. I don't know if you had to defend her, but she's a tough scorer.
Absolutely.
And one thing that really impressed me, and I'm gonna get into this with Coach a little bit later too. I know you guys had lost to Betsy Lane, but just a couple of days after you guys had played Betsy Lane come in here, and Jenkins was competitive with them. It was a close game. I was here and it was the night before you all played them, and then the next night you guys just come in and took care of business. So that was a huge improvement to see that, the competitive game the night before, and then you guys come in and take care of business like that. So you could really tell you guys were itching for that win. You got one more?
Yeah. With the way that you play, I love asking this question. What player would you say you play like or resemble, or you try to mold your game after?
I would say.
Well, you play guard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really good guards out there like Sabrina Onskew, and you got Kelsey Plum, that was a Washington native. You've got Caitlin Clark right now shooting lights out in Iowa.
I would say Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is a very good player to try and mold your game after. She's averaging 35+ points a game this season. I mean, it's crazy. She's better than most college men's players. She's really lighting it up. I like that answer a lot. I really do.
Well, Kaylee, we appreciate you being here with us. Guys, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have another Floyd Central player for you waiting right here on Coach's Corner. We'll be back with you just in a second.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better. If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off.
Co-host Sam Collier, and then we've got another special guest, Miss Kaylee Compton, right? Riley. I get mixed up, okay? You got to look over me. Riley Compton. Okay, let's dive right into this. So you're having an amazing season, right? You got 19.5 points per game, 14.3 rebounds this season, which is very good. Talk a little bit about your game, the shot selections you take, and how you're so aggressive on the boards.
Last year I was more of I had a lot of players, good players around me. I had 3 collegiate athletes around me, and I was just more focused on getting down low, getting rebounds, passing the ball out. And then this year I just took a bigger offensive role and still trying to get all the rebounds I can, pass it out like players like Kaylee and just.
Most definitely. Now, from my understanding, you have an offer from KCU, right?
Yep.
How much have you talked with them? Is that a place that you're looking to go, or do you have other options? Or talk a little bit about that for us.
I've talked to Coach Con quite a bit. She's been really nice, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm not sure where I'm going to go.
Well, it's always good to weigh out your options, right? It's always good to, and I asked this to Kaylee earlier. We're halfway through the year, and obviously, everybody wants to make that postseason push, whether it be win district, push towards the win region, even go to state. What's it going to take from you and your teammates to make that type of push this postseason?
Well, we have a lot of young players, and we're just going to have to get them. We're a lot of games into the season, and they're just going to have to keep learning and taking on that varsity role. I know it's hard for them where they're younger, but that's just what we need. We need those younger players to pick it up, so that way we can make a push in the postseason.
Absolutely, awesome. That's a very good answer.
Now this is the tricky one I've got for you, and then I'll leave you alone. I'll let Coach Sam ask you some questions, but. Everyone has that one team, right? Like, even me as a coach, I have one team every year. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to coach my heart out, and we're going to win that ball game. What team is that and why?
Well, Kaylee said Betsy Lane, so I'm going to go a different route, and I'm going to say Lawrence County, just because, we took a lot of tough losses to them, over the years, and it would just be really nice to get one back.
Yeah, Lawrence County's tough, especially in girls. They seem to be tough in girls every year, you know, so that's a good answer.
All right, I'm gonna dive right in as well. Tell me who your favorite college basketball team is, or again, it can be a pro team or player, and tell me a little bit about why they are.
I would have to go with Iowa, just because I love to watch Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like magic when she gets the ball in her hands.
You ain't lying. How about that buzzer beater the other day?
I know.
See something else. Out of your years in playing basketball, what player would you say was the toughest that you've had to defend? And tell me a little bit about why.
That's a really tough question. I mean, throughout my years at Floyd Central, there's been several really, really good players, and just guarding them in practice every day is just a challenge in itself, and it really helped build me to the player that I am. So I would just say there's a couple good players through there. That would be.
Okay, so maybe even some old teammates like last year. Okay, awesome. With the way that you play, what player would you say you play like or resemble?
I really don't know. I like playing with my back to the post and just being in the post a lot.
Well, I'm going to give you a comparison then. Since you like to kick the ball out after grabbing the rebound and pass a lot, and now you're taking on a bigger offensive role, let's go with Nikola Jokic. How you like that?
I like watching him play.
Kind of like a playmaker, big, get in there, get the job done, do a little bit of everything. I'll give you a comparison. We'll go with the.
I ain't giving her a comparison. She's Riley Compton. She don't
There
get a
you go,
comparison.
Riley
There you
Compton.
go. That's what it
In the
is.
flesh
Riley
and
Compton,
blood.
double machine right here on Coach's Corner. Riley, we appreciate you being here and coming on the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Guys, when we come back, we're going to have Coach Tyler Little with us. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll be back in just a second.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. you can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better.
Welcome back, Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier. Then we got very special guest, Coach Tyler Little. Thanks for being here, Coach, today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. I've known both of y'all for a large part of my life, and I think what you're doing here is great, bringing in coaches, players, highlighting them, letting them talk a little. I think that's what that's the kind of exposure our area needs. So I really appreciate you guys doing this for us.
I appreciate it. And for those of you at home that don't know, Coach Tyler Little was my freshman coach. My freshman year of high school, he coached me. Probably makes him feel old, right?
I do realize I'm getting older, and I'm going to take credit. Anybody who thinks he does anything good, I'm going to take credit for every bit of that. I inspired all that. Freshman coach, I inspired all that. That's what kept him locked in. That's why he's sitting here today doing these shows, working AD, all these other things he's doing for this program here.
I appreciate that, Coach, man. So let's dive on into this. You started your career off under Coach Robert Hammond's LCC, and then Robert takes another job, and then Coach Winston Lee takes over. You stay with him for a year. Then you go to Fleming Neon to coach middle school girls under
Bumper Adams.
Bumper Adams, and you took over there before you left, right? Or no?
So what happened there? I was with Robert.
Yeah.
And that was the first 5-6 years of my career.
Yeah.
And then when Robert parted ways with Fletcher Central, Winston took over. I was there first 2 years of his regime. I was his JV coach.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, I kind of felt like, maybe the grind of high school ain't for me. And, maybe I want to try something a little different. So I went down and I was like, you know what, why not get back to the school I started at, which was Neon.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me join, Coach Bumper there. He and Dickie, historical girls coaches, especially in this county.
Yeah.
And I said, let's try something a little different. So I went down and spent a year under him, just kind of helping out there at the Neon program, then took it over and had 2 really good years there.
Yeah.
And then,
Awesome.
the rest of it there. I ended up at Floyd Central with Justin Triplett. And I know that, you probably, how did I end up doing that?
Yeah.
And so when I interviewed at Floyd Central, I've been a track coach at Fletcher Central. I've been a boys basketball coach, a girls basketball coach at Neon. So the first thing that was said was, hey, we see you've done all this. We don't have a track program. Would you like to introduce track to Floyd Central?
Yeah.
And respectfully, this was the summer right after, we were still doing COVID. That was still a thing. And I was just kind of at my wit's end. I think we all were at that point. And I was like, respectfully, I'm here to teach math, and that's probably where I'm at. I was like, I don't know if I've still got it in me anymore. Yeah. And, the craziest thing was, on the 1-year anniversary of my father's death, my father passed unfortunately in 2020, but in my 1-year anniversary of my father's death in 2021, Coach Triplett reached out to me. Didn't even know that's what day it was. It was a Friday evening. I'd been lurking around the gym. Once you start doing this stuff, you never truly get away from it. You're always going to be there to some capacity. So I'm lurking around the gym during open gyms and stuff in the fall. So then October rolls around. It's the 1-year anniversary of my dad's death. I worked that day. I went home. It was a Friday. He sends me a message, and he's like, I've been talking to the girls, been talking to my staff, and we'd like to know if you'd like to be a part of this. And I didn't respond, because, very emotionally heightened day for me.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I thought about it, and I went that night, I talked to my wife, I talked to my mom, and I was like, there's got to be a reason. There's a reason it happened on this day. Yeah. And so the very next day I explained to him, why I didn't respond initially, how much I appreciated that opportunity to be a part of a program which has had a great history in Floyd County. It was an honor.
Yeah.
And it just felt like there was a bigger meaning to it. So I said, yeah, sure, let's do this.
Yeah.
So then girls basketball assistant coach, here I come. Then next thing you know, here I am in December starting a track team.
Yeah.
We're track
all
team,
in.
all in. Region, we first year of the track team, we're regional runner-up in girls, 3rd place in boys. Second season of track, we're regional champion girls, regional champion boys. Here we are, then it gets to the point that Coach Triplett says, I don't think I think I want to go down, coach my son, be a part of, I want to kind of change roles. I throw my name in the hat, and I told my wife again, I said, crazy enough, if it's meant to be, I'll get this job, and I'm not going to be destroyed if I don't.
Yeah.
And here we are. I mean, I keep saying, you know, man, there's a reason. So I just keep plugging for, you know, there's something higher than I am that's putting me in these places. So I'm just going to keep doing the best I can because I believe there's a greater reason for where I'm at right now.
Most definitely. Well, like you said, you mentioned, you know, coaching middle school girls here in Lester County and then coaching high school. Can you talk a little bit about the difference in coaching middle school compared to high school on the girls' side?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, tempo of game is obviously a little different. You know, fundamentally, you know, in the middle school level, you're really focused on the more fundamental team's probably the team that's going to win.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that could be true for all levels, but especially on the middle school level. You know, I had the blessing of Jalen Witt being a guard back when I coached Fleming Neon.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much sit back in a 1-2-2 and let Jalen just go up there and steal the ball all the time. We also had Sky Brown used to play here. Yeah. And between Sky, Macy, all those kids, we were just shooting layups like crazy.
Yeah.
And but no, the difference is it's a lot more pressure.
Yeah.
On the high school level, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt that, and I feel it today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you eventually become used to it the longer you do this job.
Yeah.
But you know, when you first become the head coach, you don't realize whether your team's great, not great, rebuilding, perfectly built, whatever. There's a high expectation, especially for a program like ours that has a great history. So, I mean, to say I don't feel that pressure, oh, dude, I feel that pressure every day.
Definitely.
And so that would be a little difference too. Yeah.
You know, with this being your first year with the Lady Jags, talk a little about your staff members and what your goals and expectations are for them, and what their roles on your staff are throughout this season.
Well, some of those guys are gonna get at me for what I say here. You know, truthfully, I built a brand new staff. We kept one staff member from the previous when I was, well, I guess we kept two because I was with Coach Triplett there for 2 years. And Alan Harville, Coach Harville has been there since the beginning of this too. His daughter was Candy Harville that used to play for the team. Yeah. You know, I brought him right back on because if there's one person that has knowledge of our team, it would be him because he's been there from the beginning. Yeah. And so I brought him on, and then, you know, he's kind of like the professor. He's really a great basketball mind. You say, hey, I need a drill for this, he's got a drill. Hey, I need a play that does this, he's got a play. You know, he's great for that. And then I said, okay, we need somebody with energy. So I reach over to the boys' side, and I grab a coach named Jeremy Hayes. He was the May Valley girls coach this year, by the way, county champion. Those girls did a great job. Coach did a great job. High energy guy. Yeah. And I said, you know, he and I we have our moments. I ain't going to sit here and lie to you. We have our moments, and we'll probably have another moment in about 30 minutes when I get out of this interview. But we have our moments. But daggone it, if he ain't, you need somebody that's a great cheerleader, a great supporter, but at the same time, blunt and obvious. And, you know, like, he's going to tell you exactly how it is. And, I mean, you know, you don't always want to hear it, but he told me, you know, if you wanted to hire a yes man, you probably shouldn't have hired me. And I said, well, you know, I don't want everybody to just go yes all the time. We don't get any better. I got 2 more assistants, too. Built a pretty big program here. We brought Brooklyn Martin on. Now, that name probably isn't familiar. She's an Allen Central standout from back in the day. Went on to play a little bit Alice Lloyd. She's coming into coaching for the first time. You know, her role on this, we weren't really sure what her role was. I just I trust, let me say this. Alan Joe Moore recommended her, the boys coach at Floyd Central. I trust Alan Joe with my life. So when he recommended her, I said, you know, there's got to be something there. So I brought her on board. And, you know, Coach Martin, she can write a scouting report like no other. Winston Lee, I know you're listening. You write great scouting reports, but I'm sorry, I'll put Coach Martin's up against yours at any time. She can really kill it. And, you know, she's she's wise beyond her years in terms of how she sees things. And the next thing I expect of her is, you know, she's not too far removed from the player dimension of this. And I really need her to start stepping in and kind of working with our athletes in terms of mindset. I've been there before. This is something you can do. Have you thought about this? I know how you feel, that kind of thing, because none of us can relate to that, you know. And then my final assistant, which I owe, let's get a little shout out for him for helping me with my physical therapy for my torn Achilles I suffered 2 years ago, Rick O'Brien. He's a physical therapist. Brought him on as a team trainer, and then realized he had a really good passion for the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. And I said, hey, let's kind of toy with this. Let's let you play around. Let's let you kind of help us on the defensive end. So he's really brought some energy and life into the defensive end of our practices, you know. And then it doesn't hurt to have a physical therapist on hand. Anytime a girl's saying, hey, my leg's hurting, my elbow's hurting, hey, I fell weird, you know, my leg's not working quite right today, that kind of thing really helps. We have professional tape jobs every day. You know,
that's
Yeah.
you always need that because me myself, like I have a player come to me, Coach, I need my ankle wrap. Like, anybody a nurse? Because I cannot do it. I can't wrap. I can't wrap anything.
So Coach Hayes, I know you're probably listening. If you ain't listening right now, one thing he told me, he said that should be a prerequisite of any high school coach. Well, I'm also the guy that don't really wrap ankles.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know, man. I said, I feel like it isn't. But he said, that should be a prerequisite. And I said, well I'll get better.
Tell him to start his own rapping class. Right?
He might need to.
Yeah,
He might-
start your own rapping
Hey, I
class.
think a lot of coaches would come to that.
we might have him here on D&D one day. We'll lay that ankle out and let him tape it. I'm sure he would love that.
Hey, we'll show everybody how to do it. Let's talk a little bit about your big, Riley Compton. You know, we just had an interview with her there recently, and we talked about her averages, 19 and 14, you know, double-double machine. Impressive numbers, really, to speak this year. Speak a little bit on her game and what kind of impact and leadership she brings to this young group you have.
Great. So, you know, let's just say this. What a surprise that's been.
Yeah.
You know, coming into this season, you know, you lose 3 starters that are now collegiate athletes that combine for about 55 a game.
Wow.
You know, we lost a returning big to an ACL tear in September. We lost our returning point guard. So we pretty much didn't know where this was going to come from. Like, can we score 30 points? Is that even a thing for us? And if we can we score more than that? And I think right now our average has dropped a little bit. At one point there, it's toying around 60.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and most of it's this girl sitting over here, man. I mean, you know, we played 13 games. Out of 13 games, I think 11 or 12 of them have been a double-double. Just the other day, and I think we'll be talking about that here in a minute. Just the other day in the Pike Central game, she goes for 30.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, wow. I mean, she really, when she stepped into it this year, and I think she said it best, her role on previous teams was to rebound, but it was also to make sure we were distributing to a great shooting core that we had. She realized graduating that out and that concern from the community, from, you know, sports analysts, things of that nature in our area, that we were going to have to get some buckets somewhere. So she really took on a whole new light and has really dedicated herself to that. And then I'll speak on the leadership side of things. Vocal leader, you know, really tries to hold the girls accountable, super patient. Both these seniors are so patient, man. We have such a young team, and that comes with some of these inconsistent scores, emotional highs and lows.
Yeah.
Man, one night I'm like trying to, you know, I'm out running the streets going, woo, go Jags, and the next night I'm probably cuddled in my bed somewhere crying. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's emotional highs and lows, but you know, we're trying to work on it. But these two have been so patient through that process, so they're both great leaders for that.
That's always a good thing to have in the older players too. You know, to be able to instill that kind of confidence into your younger players. You know, them not getting
Well,
down
and
on
it's hard to
themselves.
find patience too. It's
Right,
So
no,
hard to find. Like
I
I've got a
understand.
team right now that no patience. They want to make 2 passes and they're letting it fly. I don't care if it's from this half court right here. If they pass the ball 2 times, my kids are letting it fly. And another, we try to stop it. We run
Well, if
on
I
that.
remember, Sam just now gave you one of these. He liked to let it fly himself back in the day. Look at you.
Coach, you know, we look at your record. You're sitting at 4-8.
It's 4-9 now. I mean, let's go
4-9
ahead and call it what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you know, but most of those tough losses have been competitive. I mean, it's not like you guys have went in and got extremely blew out. You know?
Right, sure.
So, let's talk a little bit how you match up within your region and looking a little bit ahead. You know, you go back to Letcher Central where it all started to play a game this year. So, talk a little bit about how that's going to feel going back there, and talk a little about the region as well.
All right, sure. So, you know, first of all, it's kind of in our region. You know, I say this, and I told the girls this at the beginning of the year. Every team practices hard. Every team watches game film. Everybody wants to win. Do not take anybody for granted. Right. We've got good coaches in the 15th. There's good coaches in the 14th. You know, that's the 2 regions I'm familiar with. That's where I'm from, you know. But I know every one of these guys and gals, and every one of them are out working hard, man, and they're analyzing the game. And you can't take anybody for granted. But, you know, realistically right now, you know, you look at our records, you look at some of our outcomes, you go, well, they're bottom of their region, you know, okay. First of the year, my expectation was let's try to be about the 5th, 6th best team. You know, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. You know, right now we're not. Yeah. But you know, we're at the halfway marker of our schedule right now. We've got some matchups, some teams that we haven't seen yet that are just a few spots above us. And we got some return games, some teams that I think we owe them one.
Yeah.
So right now I would like to see us in the second half of the season really turn it around and see, like, I'm not saying turn it around means you're getting wins.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to win. There's no coach in the history of sports that's going to sit down and go, I don't want to win today. Maybe Pete Rose, I don't know. There was something there. I don't know. But, like, outside of that, it's I would like to see us come back on some of these teams that we've already played and show growth against them. Shorten that margin, find something that we struggle with in the particular game we played with them the first time around, and make that something we focus on for the next time around. And then we haven't even played, but we've got them on the schedule, Shelby Valley. We've still got Pike Central 2 more times, because I'd already scheduled with Coach Spears outside the 2A. We got a return game with Prestonsburg, return game with Betsy Lane. Still got Lawrence twice. McGoffin twice. Got that return Letcher game. Let's talk about that. So, no hard feelings there. Coach Keith Baker's killing it, man. He every year, I don't know what the consensus is, but, every year, even if somebody tries to say, well, let's count Letcher out, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, no.
They fight back every single year. That one's going to be emotional for me just because I've coached a lot of games in that gym. I don't really prefer coaching down on that other side. Keith, I don't know if you can hear me, but I would like to have the home bench for that night, if that's possible.
Just more comfortable.
Checks in the mail. But, it's just a little bit more comforting. But, and the other thing is like so many of those girls played on my Neon team. You've got Jalen Witt, for one, star guard up there. Now I got to deal with her, And then you've got Allie Bailey in the post, Kara Holcomb. She's a dead-eye three-point shooter.
I swear.
There's Scarlett Stamper. I think she's been contributing here lately. You got the Anderson twins. They're all there. I coached all these girls, had great times with these girls. Back-to-back county champions with these girls, and but they do a great job, and I look forward just to going back and seeing some old faces and getting that opportunity to coach another game in that gym. Regardless of the outcome.
Well, what better team to play against than the team you've coached before, right? You know what they're going to do. You know how they are.
There's also a reason you put them at the end of your schedule. That was a Robert Hammond's ism, as I like to say. He used to always play Perry and the likes of those right at the end of the season, and Coach Lee and I would say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to ourselves when it's going to be district tournament? And he was like, do you want to see how good you are going into this, or do you not want some kind of measure? Because realistically, you want to know how are you going to match up in the region. And even though Letcher's not our region, they're a darn good team, man.
Absolutely.
That's a great team to have at the end of your schedule.
Most
It's kind of a
definitely.
measure.
And usually at the end of the year is when they start making that run.
Right,
start
right,
doing
right.
better,
Let's talk about that big game you had last week against Pike Central. Take us through that game and speak a little bit on some of the things that you plan to change moving forward.
Okay, so that game did not go how we expected it at all. But let me start with this, and I really want to say this. Coach Bobby Spears has been great to me since I became a head coach. He was one of the first people that called me when I was named head coach. He's been nothing but just great. He called me after my first scrimmage. I was on my way home from Breathitt County. We talked for 20, 30 minutes. He's been somewhat of a mentor in this process. Just calling every now and then, checking on me, having a few conversations. But I really didn't want him to win. But I will say that his senior Hannah May, she can play.
She's a bomb.
And I don't know that she knew that she could not make a basketball. Like she didn't miss that night. I think she rolled her ankle the night before. She was hobbling in warm-ups. And you don't want to see a player on your team go down. You don't want to see a player on anybody's team go down. And I'm sitting there in my head and I'm like, this ain't really how I want to play this game. If Hannah May ain't 100% Hannah May, I don't want to play this game.
Yep.
Hannah, maybe you want to tweak your ankle every night before you play. Because let me tell you something. I think the girl shot 98%, scored 25 points. It was insane. The girl didn't, unconscious, great game for her. And she kept the rest of her team alive and active too. They feed off that energy, and they have a great program there. But no, on our side of it, I thought we came out flat. I'm going to take fault in that because I believe, making my schedule, most of it was already made. I chose what Christmas tournament we went to. I think I chose wrong. I won't be 100% honest with you. I think the comp was a little bit beyond our means. It kind of set us back. I'm a mindset guy. I think that mindset-wise, it set us back a little bit. And then that was the second day back from Christmas break. We had a 2.5-week Christmas break in Floyd County this year, which is awesome. Thank you, Floyd County Board of Education. But, it's it was a long break. You're on that second day back. I saw it in the classroom. I teach AP calculus, pre-calculus, all these things. So I'm watching my kids, not just my athletes. I teach a lot of them too, but they're yawning, they're tired. It's that second day back grind. And I'm like, oh no. So we come into that game, and here we are, kind of tired already. That's naturally from the changeover. And then here we are in this weird mental state where we had just played Jackson County and Madison Southern in some games that really set us back a little bit. But now that's not to be said that those two teams are great.
Yes.
Jackson County for sure, man. They're going to make some noise. I mean, they've been good for some years. They're still really good. They actually won that tournament, by the way. But we're kind of in a weird mental state. We're tired. I was trying to find a way, tried to get really hype right before the game started. I was like, maybe if we can just come out, if we can lay that first punch, we're going to be all right. Well, we didn't. We were kind of flat. And I think there was a point, we went down like 20-some points in the first half, which is shocking to me. I didn't think there was that much of a gap between us and Pike Central. Called a couple timeouts quick, but then we fought back, had a 9-point game at halftime. Unfortunately for us, in any team, once you've dug a hole that deep and you fight your way out of it, you've expended your energy, what energy you did have. So then in the second half, it became one of those things, shots weren't falling, couple of foul trouble situations came out or happened. I think we had to take a few players off the court, put some of our, we're young anyway. 14 out of 22 active players are freshmen down.
Wow.
And so the future's bright. But I tell the girls this all the time. Future's bright, and I love it, and we're going to work towards it. But I'm also concerned about now. I still want to see what Floyd Central can be this season. You hear rebuild, things like that, and absolutely, we are 1,000% in that. But we're also concerned about what we're doing now. But we just got caught in a situation there. But you know what, Bobby Spears? In about a week and a half, we're coming back. So we're going to see if we can put this thing back together on some fresh legs, see what happens. And you know what? Let the best team win,
Absolutely.
The first question of the show, I asked you the difference between coaching middle school and high school girls. Now I'm going to switch gears. This is my favorite question to ask coaches that's been on both sides. Talk about the differences in coaching boys and girls.
All right, so differences in coaching boys and girls. There's a lot of people that weigh in on this, and you hear a lot of things like, here's one of the things I hear a lot, and it's not my opinion, but I'm going to say it because I've heard it a lot. Girls are more of you're playing them like a video game almost, and boys kind of just go. I don't agree with that. I think first of all, let's talk about coaching basketball in general. A 22 press is a 22 press regardless of the gender. A 1-2-2 is a 1-2-2 regardless of the gender. Offense is offense regardless of the gender. I don't know how many high school girls are dunking in the area. I mean, I'll give you that, but like the X's and O's and all that part of it, it's pretty much the same. The big difference to me is, girls are very rigid in the sense that they will do precisely what you ask of them, which is awesome. And then also, sometimes, because you're like, okay, I did say look up. Oops, I didn't say throw it, but we looked up and we threw it anyway. And that's okay, because we teach go, 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 and that's okay. We tell them, a turnover going out of bounds on the opposite side of the court, running the ball is not a bad turnover because we're trying to get to the rim, But, I guess it's just like, it's the good, bad of the fact that I think girls listen and try to do precisely what you say a little bit more than what the boys' side of it does. And then I also think that girls, the approach with girl athletes, I do think that they're more emotionally invested in and I'm not saying that overall, I'm saying that on every word. So, a lot of boys can hear a couple sentences and they're like, all right, coach, didn't like what you said, but we're gonna go ahead and prove you wrong. You say a couple wrong words to some girls and they're like, all right, coach, all right, we see what you said, we're gonna punch you in the face. They're a little more emotionally invested. But I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed coaching on both sides of the game. I would like to continue to coach on the girls' side, and when that time comes, I want to end my career on the girls' side.
And man, a lot of people say, I've never coached girls, nor as of right now I don't plan to, but a lot of people always say when I ask them that question, physicality. But man, I swear I've watched some girls' games this year, and these girls are physical.
So you know, it's like this. You can say that, but that's relative. Yeah. You know, like I really do think, you know, sitting right over there, Riley Compton, you know, she'll rip your head off if you're in the way of a rebound. I mean, and she's not the only one. We play people that are like that. Yeah. You know, it's all relative to what you're watching. And but to say that these girls don't get physical would be that would be an injustice to girls basketball.
Absolutely.
Now, before we go to a short break, Coach John Meade says Coach Ty will put his stamp on this team. Give it time. His team just has to keep getting reps in. Things will start to turn around quickly. Coach John Meade said that.
So I appreciate that. You know, John worked with us at Floyd Central for a little while. That's how I got to know him. He's a great coach, doing big things over at Valley.
I think very highly of Coach.
Mary Lucas says, watching from Charleston, West Virginia. I went to school with Tyler. He's not only an awesome ball player, but a great guy as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Guys, when we come back, we've got more questions here for Coach Tyler Little. And remember, if you watching at home have any questions for Coach Tyler Little, put them in the comments. We'll put him on the spot right here.
Clearly, I like to talk. Let's just throw it out.
Let's keep it.
Yeah, I mean, let's get these questions.
Guys, we'll be right back with you in just a second.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better. Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, special guest, Coach Tyler Little, and looky here. Look who's watching, guys. Coach Winston Lee trying to eavesdrop in on us right here. Coach, I'm going to be honest with you, man, and I know Coach Lee's watching at home, but, like, Coach Little's giving you a run for your money on these talk shows, Coach Lee. He's been keeping it up.
You know. Might be taking somebody's spot on another network. I don't know.
Coach Ty Little show.
My phone's blowing up over there. I'm getting offers right now. I don't know.
All right, Coach. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this question here. You know, you mentioned you had a very, very young team coming into this season. Talk a little bit about your JV and freshman teams and what is to come from the Tyler Little era in Floyd County.
Well, you know, Tyler Little era, let's talk about that JV freshman. So Coach Hayes that I mentioned earlier, I've trusted him with that side of the program. You know, we practice together and he's consistent with what we run. But now I will say this. Right now with our JV and freshman program, the biggest thing is play.
Yep.
And, you know, we've been playing every Saturday morning. We're actually going over to Johnson Central tomorrow evening to play a double, a freshman JV double with them. You know, we just want to get as many reps in. To touch back on what Coach Meade said, as many reps in as we can, because that's really where the growth's going to be. At this point in the season, there's only so much more you can do in a practice, but you got to simulate games. And you all had David Robinson on a while back, Neon's coach, guy near and dear to my heart as well, Coach Robinson. I hope you're listening. You know, his philosophy has always been probably play more than you're legally allowed to play. And, you know, it's...
he taught us that when we were middle school under him.
But you know what? There's only so much you can do when you guard your teammate. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you already know the same offense as the guy that's running the offense. Yep. And you know all those things in and out. You know, there's a lot of things you can simulate, but there's nothing that simulates the learning curve like playing a game and going back and analyzing what went right, what went wrong, and what we can adjust from there. Yep. But in this era, man, my hope is this, let's have some patience, and I got to teach myself to have a little bit more patience and not be so critical of myself, man. Yeah. I've been, I am one of those people that, like, I just want everything to be great, because who don't, right? But, I mean, I really do. And I think, when there is adversity, I do respond, but man, I'm hard on myself about it. Yep. And if I'm hard on myself, I know my girls see that, and they're probably hard on themselves, and my coaches are probably hard on themselves. So something we all need to do is step back, take a deep breath, and go, this era is going to be great. Yep. There's tons of young talent. There's a lot of time in this era. Yep. We're at the tippy beginning of this. Corey Thacker, you see what he did with Betsy Lane. You saw the season he had last year. Yep. Coach has done a great job. You see what he's doing this year, doing a killer job, And then to think about programs like Prestonsburg that is just, Coach Kidd just finds a way to win, man. Yeah. He has just piled them up. And so we just want to be known for, once we get established, and we're still very young, man. 13 games is nothing. No. It's nothing. 13 games and a handful of summer games is nothing. We just want to be known as a hard-nosed, run-and-gun team. That's what we're trying to develop here. Fast-paced, just go for it. And I think that's what you'll see. So we're coming 15th region. We ain't there yet, but we're coming 15th region.
I'd love to hear that.
Now, a little bit ago, we talked to Miss Kaylee Hall, for an interview. Let's talk about her for a minute. She does some scoring. She averages 8.8 points per game. Talk a little about her work ethic and how much she's improved this season, and what she brings to this team.
Let's talk about Kaylee, man. So this another part of this youth thing on my team. I like to think of myself as the same level because I've never coached a high school team, right? Well, Kaylee Hall's never played a varsity game until this year. She starts on this team, but she hadn't had varsity experience. I had the opportunity to coach her in JV, but she'd never been a varsity player. So, this is all new to her, too. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much new to every player on the floor except Riley Compton. Yeah. Wow. Including this coach. Yeah. So we've done some things this season that have been great. And we've done some things this season that might have disappointed a few people. I mean, I'll be the first one, biggest critic of myself, have disappointed me. But you got to have some grace here, man, and say, man, these guys are young. They're figuring it out. And that's what Kaylee's doing. And I think her stat line's great for a player that's just coming into her own. Yeah. Let's talk about, and I know we don't have that particular stat line, but she had just a crazy game when we played Prestonsburg at Prestonsburg. I think she went for like 27, 28 points. Wow. Her three ball was just, the rim was the size of the ocean, man. And she was running all over the floor. Great game for her. But just to see the energy she brings, she's one of I'm the track coach, like I said, she's one of my favorite runners, man. Just watching that kid go at it, I get on to her because she don't have the high emotional response I want to see, but man, what she does have is a stone cold killer face, and she'll just go get the work done. I remember in track season, I told her we were running the 800, and it was region, and I said, you got to go out here and get this. We got to have this one. This one's going to seal the deal. And she just said, all right. And just looked at me as serious as she could. Went out there, burnt the track up, just stepped off, gave me 5. I was like, it's just somebody who just does business, man. She's just business oriented. She's there, she gets it done. So, shout out to Kaylee. She does a great job, man. She really does.
We all suspect that the ultimate goal is to win district, make a push at region. This is the first ever super region. Right, first ever state of Kentucky.
If we want to call it that, sure.
Talk a little bit about what it will take from you and your staff to prepare your team for this kind of run, and speak on the new super region. What your thoughts are based around that?
Okay, let's start back to the district part of this. Okay, I think that's where the question started. So, I'm going to go out on a limb, and some people are going to question me. I think we got a pretty tough district. I think it's one of the toughest districts in the 15th from top to bottom. Yeah. From top to bottom. I didn't say the best team was in our district, and it might be. But from top to bottom, we got some good coaches and some hardworking girls in a pretty good district that's been a consistently good district.
Yes, for years.
For years.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I think as 4 coaches in our district, we all do respect each other. Yeah. At the end of the day, we want to beat each other, duh. Yeah. But we all respect each other and talk. And, but for us, we would like to see at least win that first round of the district, right? Yeah. And whoever that ends up being, we've only played 2 district games. We're 1-1. So there's still so much to go. Yeah. Well, who knows who will play? Who knows who will play? There's still so much to go there. But I would like to, success-wise, it's winning one of those district games, right? It's winning that first district game and having a chance in that championship. As far as the region, super region goes, I've heard it explained to me like, I don't know a lot. And I don't know that I still truly understand it. I don't know that any of us do at the end of the day. You're just going to play a lot. And if you lose first round, you're going to play a lot more if you plan to be at the end of the region. But, I think we'll like it in time.
Yeah.
Right now, it feels weird. Nobody's going to consider it the region until you walk into the doors of the Expo. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, like it or not,
Well, and I think
that's the way they're going to feel.
I don't think it'll happen this year, but eventually, I mean, if you're going to do that and you're going to make it like a March Madness, why have district?
Okay, why not? And then the other side of that's this. Maybe we all need to play each other twice in the season.
Yep.
Maybe the whole region needs to play each other twice. I mean, if we're going to take this route, maybe that's it. But then at the same time, I'm also one of these coaches that's looking at my schedule. Well, that's almost my full schedule.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, do we really want to be forced into our schedule?
Yeah.
And then, there's questions about maybe some teams are not the right matchups and you don't want to do a team wrong. But, it's, I don't know. I think there's still a lot to go in the super region, which that's why we're piloting it, right? Yeah. We're piloting it, see how it works, what it looks like, what could be better, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, we got to talk about Riley and Kaylee. Let's talk a little bit about some of your other players, like, Chloe Crace, Reagan Lafferty, Maddie Engel, and Alicia Bentley. Let's speak on these players and tell me a little bit about the improvements that you have seen them make throughout this season so far.
Well, those players in our, actually, I'll just say this: the players you just named, one sophomore, everything else is freshmen and eighth graders. Okay, so that just again plug in just how young we are.
Yep.
And that also is a testament to how hard these girls are trying.
Yes.
All those girls mentioned, and there's I can name off the whole varsity list because let me tell you something. Right now, Coach Hammond's always said you play about 7 kids when you really know what you got. We're playing about 15 kids because we're young, we're inconsistent, we're trying to get it solidified. I've changed my starting lineup. You're getting ready to see a new starting lineup come this week, guys. Yep. But we've changed it a few times, just trying to find something consistent that sticks. It's not that anybody's doing anything wrong. It's just that you're trying to find something that is the most consistent version, the best rotation of your team. And my assistants are working hard on this as well. Sometimes I'm sure there's people that say, "Man, they look silly out there. That ain't the right sub."
Some players
and this
just
ain't
don't
it.
cope well together on the court like they should, because they got a lot of the same game, and you really want a little bit of everything out there.
Well, and it's just like I said, with the age, it's inexperience, and sometimes we get in foul trouble and we'll catch ourselves out on the floor, and we got 3 8th graders, and there's no problem with that. I've seen some really good 8th graders. I've got some really good 8th graders.
Yes.
But in big game situations, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask, but here we are asking it. And we, like I said, I go home frustrated, they go home frustrated, but we have to, again, I keep plugging that, we have to look back at it and go, we are asking a whole lot of ourselves right now. And I don't think that we're doing a bad job at what we're asking. It's just, it's not all in line yet. Yep. But those players have worked hard, man. Each one of them, we could touch on things they've done right. Players not listed there, they're on the varsity roster. They're all coming along. The biggest thing is, and I say this to all my players and any player out there, just keep going, man. If you're young, just keep going. Don't get disappointed just because the shot didn't fall. Don't get disappointed because you only scored 2 points. Find something to get better at and be the best passer, be the best defender, be the charge taker. Where's that at? I don't say Hunter Hall. Let's plug Hunter Hall. I know. You remember that? Yeah. You remember that at Metro Central? That man lived to take charges. Where's that at? Go find you something to be proud of. And as soon as you find that, then you start having some pride in your heart. And then once that pride hits, the rest of your game's going to flourish, because next thing you know, Hunter can score 8 points a game. And there was a long time that we didn't think he could score a single point if we left him in the gym by himself for 12 hours. And so, but here it is, man. He found something he was good at. It fired him up, and suddenly he's a better player all around. So young players, man, even players that have been around for a while, down on their luck, find something to focus on, and then that's going to bleed out and make the rest of your game better.
We have a question coming in. Coach John Mead has asked
Of course he's going to ask something. Yeah.
Ask you the story on how you tore your Achilles.
Is that really? Okay, so we'll do this. This is when I retired from doing anything sport-related myself. I had been on a run one day up at the top at the football field at Floyd Central. It was actually We're getting real close to like the 3-year anniversary of this.
Oh, wow.
But so I've been on a run. I came down to the gym. Boys was finishing up. Girls had practice afterwards. One of the boys talked a little smack. And at this point in life, I'm 33. I've been playing, a lot of pickup ball. And I wasn't a bad player. I was a late bloomer in terms of coming into my own, but I wasn't a bad player. I had a high IQ and it was extremely fundamental. And then there's probably somebody out there going, well, he doesn't coach that way. I'm trying, all right? Give me some grace. But anyway, walked in the gym. This kid talked smack. I said, okay, grab the ball. Oh, man, we're 15 seconds into it. I do a little jab step, come back, jumper. I felt it separate when I was in the air.
Oh.
I landed, and I'd never felt something funky like that before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what just happened? Well, then I realized when I went to step, I just fell over.
Yep.
And I'm like, so some of the other coaches that are still on my staff, Alan Joe was there, a couple of the others, they come over and they're like, Coach, you might have just tore your Achilles. Me thinking, okay, I remember Durant did this not too long ago,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that don't sound good, And so I'm like, well, tell me it's partial. Like, I can feel my leg. And they're like, okay. Then I'm like, I could stand and walk flat-footed. Maybe it's just partial. And I called up Rick O'Brien, which is, now on my staff. Met him. I don't know if I should say I drove home, but I met him on the side of the road. It was my left leg. I met him on the side of the road, stepped out of the car, and within 2 seconds he went, get in the car, you're going to have surgery in 3 days. Okay, and so that's that. But that was the last time I ever played basketball. And the day before that, if Melinda or Kinsley Feltner's watching, I'm sorry I did you disrespecting this, Kinsley, but I was Kinsley Feltner at practice all day the day before that. Trust me, I'm not. You got so much more game than I do, Kinsley, but I tried my best to mimic you for a while. And that night, I will say that the night before I tore my Achilles, my calf on both legs was just burning like crazy, which apparently when you Google that is a sign that that's about to happen. So, trying to simulate you, Kinsley, I blow my Achilles. There you go.
Coach Winston Lee has commented a question. Actually, two, but I'm only going to ask one, Coach Lee. Sorry, you don't get two. We're running low on time. You ain't getting two, Coach.
Yeah.
Tell us your favorite Robert Hammond story.
Oh, my God. Really? Ones I'm allowed to say.
Please keep it PG, Robert.
I mean, oh, no. Oh, no. Robert was a lot, and he's probably going to watch this, but, let me preface before I get into my Robert Hammond story. Thank you, Coach Hammonds, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd be the coach I was today. I will say that right now. You are a great coach. You are a brilliant basketball mind, and I had 100% trust in you, but, man, I was not ready to deal with you in my life at the point in which I met you. But anyway, I don't know. There's a lot. I'm going to keep it simple. There's one practice a year that Robert always wanted to try to fire the team up by acting like he was just extremely upset. And he would punt the basketball into the upper bleachers of Letcher Central. And, I think it was just watching that kind of happen and seeing the grimace on his face from the punt that he really isn't even truly mad about, because he would do that and be like, get out of the gym. Like practicing it early. I would always look forward to that as an assistant. I'd get that text on that one day a year, like, boys, you might as well get ready. It's only going to be about 20 minutes long. We'd be like, all right, here we go. I'm going home early. Like, am I going to Norton, Wise? Where am I eating at tonight? But I guess one more thing with Robert using his leg. We were at Harlan, and it was first game of the season, and things weren't going too good. And I thought he darn near broke his leg on a locker at Harlan County High School. So Harlan County, we're sorry. That was about 8 years ago. If you see a dent, that's Robert Hammonds.
I know I only said one more question, but Winston Lee and Austin Banks is on here.
Austin, all right.
And we got to know about the laundry at Disney.
No, we don't have to know about the laundry at Disney. I said I learned a lot from Robert Hammonds. There's a lot of coaching do's and don'ts. That particular story is a coaching don't. Respect your assistants. Head coaches, respect your assistants. When they're at the most magical place on earth, don't tell them that they need to get the laundry done before they go out and play. I mean, it's 2:30 on a beautiful Florida day at Christmas time. You're supposed to be happy. I think we probably even won. the laundry's 24 hours at Disney. It ain't like me and Winston Lee was going to bed at 8, and so we and there's some other things I can't say on the air that happened in that story, but we'll keep it that simple. Coaches, respect your assistants and don't rip their happiness from them when they're at Disney, please.
Okay, Coach Lee, that's it. You don't get no more. You don't get no more. Sam, you got one more for him?
Yeah. What would you consider to be a successful season at the end point of this season? What would be your successful season with this team?
So, with this team, obviously when I started it, I was like, it's win X amount of games. Well, record right now ain't really allowing me to get to that goal. So, but you also have to be, we learned this as being teachers, man. You have to be able to self-evaluate. You have to be able to do that. And you can't just do it at the beginning and at the end. You have to continuously evaluate where you're at. And I do that as a coach too. So like right now, the biggest thing we want to find that rotation. Yep. We would like to find that rotation. Once that's locked in, and I think we're getting really close. Once that's locked in, and I told the girls this the other night, you want anybody who contributes to play as hard as they can within their talent. I'm not asking a player to go above and be beyond what they're capable of doing. Right. I'm asking them to simply exert everything they have within their talent to do what they need to do. So that's one. Number two would be win that first round of the district, have a chance at the district championship, and regardless of, you do that, it's a little different in the super region. I think somehow you stand on one leg and point to the sun and something changes. I don't know. There's so many rules. But, I mean, at that point, win a game in the region. Yep. Even if it's not at the expo. Ultimately, the overarching goal here is show up on the expo. Yep. Touch the expo
You
floor.
would suspect that they would, or expect it, that they would play every one of the region games there.
You would think, and I think we're getting there. Yeah. Us coaches are trying to sort out how we feel about it too. Yeah. There's good and bad. But like I said, for this first season, I don't think anybody's going to feel like they're in the region until they touch the floor at the expo.
Exactly.
I mean, that's simple as that. Just based on the way and I'm not disrespecting the process, but just based on the way things have been, nobody's going to feel like they made it until they've actually made it into the Appalachian Wireless Arena.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question after, I'm going to get you back on here after region's over, because I want to know your opinion on if you think this will last or if this is just a trial error.
Sure.
Sure. Like once you go through the process, we'll get you back here and what, because I want to know that, because I've always found it intriguing that even when Jenkins first went to the 15th, I had just transferred here. It was my sophomore year. It was supposed to be in super region where you have to have an even number of teams. Yep. And as soon as we came in, Pierre's dropped out, so it kept it at 15, and they never could do it until we left and come back to 14.
Right, then it was like, whoop, we got it.
Got it right.
Which, if you look KHSAA, apparently that Jenkins is still in the 15th. If you look at our RPI, y'all still listed. Winston, you're killing it in the 15th region boys rankings. It's I don't know, but somebody's got to call up and fix that. But
probably my job. keep it on the download.
Then I'm not taking credit for all that stuff I said at the beginning.
Okay, Coach, I got one more question for you, as long as we ain't got any more commented.
I'm sure John Mead's probably got 50, but we'll just keep it.
We've got, we had a rule change this year. It went from, used to there was a 1-and-1, then a double bonus. Sure. Well, now everything's a double bonus, and it happens every quarter. How has this rule change affected your team? And what's your pros and cons with it?
Okay, so on the initial thought coming into this season, I thought, well, it's going to penalize aggressive defense, right? Mm-hmm. But our officials, we have good officials, man. And if it's aggressive and legal, they ain't gonna blow the whistle just because somebody's out there playing hard. Yeah. I've seen some places and in some instances where this looks like somebody's fouling you, but they're just going really hard. So it's like you can't penalize somebody for going hard. You know what I'm saying? So scratch that. That's not where I'm at. Here's what I think it's done. I think you got teams scoring more points than what they should, and you got players scoring more points than what they should as individuals. That's the change. And then in terms of coaching theory, you ended the game fouling. Used to, you had a few opportunities to go 1-and-1, which is a great opportunity if you're in a tight game and you don't want the clock to run. But now you're giving them 2 looks. And I mean, you still want to stop the clock, but giving 2 shots that's a little bit more tough, because in the 1-and-1 situation, you're banking on they're not scoring. They're not scoring, and there's so much pressure on that. That first shot's a complete pressure-free freebie in a situation where if you're the one shooting, your team's probably already up a couple. Yeah. So now you got this relaxed moment to go ahead and make another one.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't that part of the game's been affected. But the only other thing I really think is maybe it's slightly increased player averages and team averages. Maybe dare I say 5-10 points more on the team, and maybe around 2-3-5 more on the player, based on that. You know.
Do you ever think there'll be a shot clock added to high school basketball?
There is in some
There's
stuff.
been talk about it, but it's never happened.
I would look forward to that day. My style of basketball is not to wait.
A 35-second shot clock would be more than plenty for a high school here in Kentucky.
I think that would be fine. And I'm just going to go back to the same old thing you hear every time, which is the logistical part of it, which is like that's one more person to find that has to do a job in the gym.
Yeah.
And that person can't just be anybody. It's going to have to be a KHSAA trained person. So that's like another official, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's another financial burden on your schools and things like that. So as much as I would say, hey, let's do that. But I don't know too many teams anymore that just ice the ball.
Yeah.
I don't see that a lot anymore. But it's a great decision at the end of the game, and I get why you're coming to that because it would negate a little bit of that fouling at the end. But
I always think to that time that LCC held the ball against Knott County.
I think the
You
score
remember that?
was 14-17 going into halftime.
14
Yeah.
minutes
That
and a
was
half.
wild.
It was a fun game to be on the sideline on. But that game changed in the second half because we were so sickened of just sitting there. Because we were the ones doing it, right?
Yeah.
We were the ones doing it. And it was smart. Like, it kept us within 3. But you can only do that for so long and have a soul. And so when we came out in the second half, we were like, we're just going to play now. Whoop. Okay. But, could you realistically, had we came back out and did that, can you really truly maintain that for an entire game? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. And regardless of what fans or how it feels, I do think there is a strategy to holding the basketball. But I have seen teams, if we rewind back that far, I've seen teams in regional tournaments try to hold basketballs and it end up costing them the game. And so there's that side of it too.
Winston says a Knott County mom come out of the stands. Y'all had to protect Hammonds that game.
You know what? You're right, and I can see it. That really did happen. That was it was a lot. That's a fun rivalry.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only real rivalry in that district anymore.
Yeah.
Like true rivalry in that district. And I felt like back when I was there, all the teams were kind of a little bit more up against each other. Now it's changed a little.
Yep.
I would like to see Jenkins reestablish a rivalry with Letcher.
Yeah.
As a player, I lived through that first few years.
Yeah.
Well, actually the first year, and we split 1-1. We lost at each other's home court. That was really weird. We lost here to Letcher, but we beat Letcher at Whitesburg at that time. But I will say that about my district right now. Every district game's a big deal. We do doubles on district nights. We play boy-girl doubles on district nights. Floyd Central, we talked about this the other day, and I was talking to some of the teachers I work with, and one of the biggest slogans they could think about, because I've got a little thing in the works coming up here at the end of the month. Stay tuned for something from Floyd Central girls basketball. But we were talking about the strength being our people. Strength being our people. And, our people come out and support, man. Even as a track coach, I'll say this. I've been a track coach for a long time. I didn't have fans. I had the parents that were obligated to be there, but I didn't have fans. We got fans. We got track fans, dude.
Wow.
Floyd Central comes out and supports whether your team's 1-25 or 25-1. And that's a great thing about my school, but then in our district, every school, it's all rivalry games. Yeah. Like you play Prestonsburg, that's a big deal. You play Betsy Lane, that's a big deal. You play Lawrence, that's a big deal. Yeah. That's awesome. All 4 teams in your district, it's a big deal to them. It's a big deal to us.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I'm not going to keep you any longer. One thing we didn't anticipate was so much talk through these comments. You've actually been, I think you've been the coach with the most talk through the comments. Thank you, Coach Winston Lee, for putting him on the spot today.
Winston Lee, John Meade.
Yeah. So thank you guys.
We love those stories.
No,
too,
Coach,
by the
we
way.
appreciate you being here, and I look forward to having you back on the show as the season continues to go on.
Man.
So thank you for being here, guys. When we come back, we're going to have hot takes for you later on. We'll have Sammy's top 10 boys, top 10 girls, and then we'll have pick 'em for you. You won't want to miss the rest of the show. We'll catch you right here in a second.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be, for generations to come.
Welcome back, Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings. Co-host, Sam Collier. Co-host, Big E.
Big
is
E's back in the
He's
building.
back in the business from Christmas break. New York City. Woo! Christmas with his girlfriend. You've had a slam-packed break, ain't you, Big E?
I mean, it's been interesting. Had a lot of fun.
Had a
Heck
lot of
yes,
fun,
son.
man. Had staying in the gym,
We're
guys.
glad to hear you had a good Christmas and New Year's. We love to hear that.
We love to hear that, guys. We appreciate you guys staying tuned in. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss what we got coming right now with hot takes. And then later on, we've got Sammy's Big 10, where we'll critique his top 10, and then we got the Pick'ems later, which I think is everybody's favorite segment is Pick'em. So let's go ahead and get started right here. It's New Year's, and so although we didn't have a show the weekend of New Year's, it's still New Year's to us on this show. We're celebrating the holiday right here. Just like we did Christmas last show, we're going to celebrate the New Year's holiday right here with a New Year's resolution game. So I'm going to go through, we're getting close to the NFL postseason, right? But we're also getting close to NFL free agency and the draft. So what I'm going to do is I've got a list of teams, and we're all going to very quickly say, either their New Year's resolution is to add this to their team, or their New Year's resolution is to just keep what they got and re-sign them. You know what I mean? So we're going to go through each team and do that. We will start off with the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens are doing fairly well this year. You know, they've got the best record in the AFC. They're doing a phenomenal job, you know. I would only say that they could maybe add, you know, some wide receivers to their wide receiver room. But other than that, I mean, I really like the Baltimore Ravens. I think that they're doing pretty good, and they don't have to add much. They get to keep a lot of cap space.
Same with Sam, just add some receivers, and I mean, really, that's all you need.
Well, man, I'm going to go a little bit different route. I like our receivers. I don't think you need to add to. I think you need to keep the guys you got. Rashard Bateman, Zay Flowers. Re-sign Odell for an experienced guy in the locker room. Re-sign Aguilar for another veteran in the locker room. So they've got a good mixture of veterans. They don't have that Tyreek Hill that sticks out, or Stephon Diggs, but they don't need that. Right. Because their running game is so good, they don't need that electrifying receiver. Zay Flowers fits the description for that core. So if I'm the Baltimore, I'm thinking that if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I look at adding more depth in the running back room because J.K. Dobbins is having a hard time staying healthy. And Gus, not to say that Gus Edwards and Dalvin Cook and all them guys aren't up to quit, but I think
Justice Hill.
I think no, they're good, but they need. Think about if they had a dominant back.
Yeah.
You give them a.
That would take away from Lamar Jackson.
Because
he's pretty much a running back.
He's not. If you look at his numbers, he's not ran nowhere near as much this year. He's actually. Did you see his game with the Miami Dolphins? How he lit them up for 5 touchdowns on just 21 passes. His QBR rate. It was perfect.
Yeah.
He had a perfect QBR rating against one of the best teams in the National Football League.
Let's go to the next one.
So I'm saying we're good. Re-sign them, maybe get a running back. Moving on, Kansas City Chiefs, very quickly.
They need to add a lot to their team. You know,
One thing they need to add.
Definitely receivers again. You know, that is a team that definitely needs wide receivers, and maybe even look into finding you a backup tight end that eventually will take over Travis Kelce's spot, because I don't see him playing after the next couple seasons. You know, I think he's over with.
Big E?
I don't think they need to add a lot, like he said. Maybe add you 1 or 2 receivers, and that team's back in the championship.
Yeah, that's that team.
I disagree with you. I don't think it's the receivers. I think you need to add offensive line. I think if I'm the Chiefs, I'm going out and getting me an offensive line, because the more time that you give Patrick Mahomes, I know we just talked about Baltimore, but look at Lamar. He has literally 5 to 6 seconds to throw the ball every time because their O-line is so good.
Yeah, I guess
Patrick Mahomes has 2 to 3 seconds to throw the ball. Come
That's
on.
All he needs,
and not that Patrick Mahomes can't do it without an offensive line, because we've seen that he can, but he can't do it with the receiving core that he has. Either up your receiving core or up your offensive line and keep your receivers. Give the receivers time to get open. So I'm going different. I say New Year's resolution, I'm going and drafting an offensive line or signing one. Moving on, Washington Commanders.
Actually, I don't want to laugh about that, because, I really like their quarterback situation is Sam Howell, and I don't know why they are sitting here saying that they're going to draft a quarterback or they're going to try to get a quarterback when their QB1 is really literally sitting there on their roster doing an amazing job this year. Their wide receivers aren't bad.
So who you signing? New Year's resolution, or are they good?
No, they're not good. They're not good. I would say that they need to add more to their defensive scheme more than their offense, because, they've got so many running backs, they don't know who to even use as their running back one right now.
Yeah.
And, they've got a receiving core. So, yeah, let me get some defensive players on that team, and then we see how the old Washington Redskins was. Maybe they make a comeback.
I would say they need to add an O-line. If you see the rushing game this year, it's non-existent. The running backs have been more in Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson receiving. They have more receiving touchdowns, I would say, than they do rushing touchdowns. The rushing game is not being. So you add an offensive line much better next year.
I'm taking different. I think you need a coach. I think you fire they never fired him.
No, they ain't
They ain't fired him yet.
He
They
needs
need to
to
fire
have
him. They need to go get a new coach. And you've got a guy that would be perfect for it right on your staff, Eric Bieniemy. I think that's the job for him. I think you fire Ron Rivera, promote Eric Bieniemy, and let him have his own staff. He's an offensive guru. We've seen what he done with Kansas City. Let him go get his quarterback. Let him go get his receiving core, and watch that team put up numbers. Watch them put up points on the board. They may not be the best team in the league, but they will put points up and they will win games. Moving on, we're going to start moving through these quickly because I got a lot of teams here. The Texans.
The Texans. We skipping the Dolphins?
We'll come back to the Dolphins.
The Texans, man, honestly, man, I would go again, defensive scheme. Trying to get some defensive players to back up that offense because that offense is looking pretty good under rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud.
Yep.
5,000 passing yards in his rookie campaign. He's the 5th quarterback to do that, man. I mean, this team they're looking good on offense.
I would go running back. They ain't got a running back. No,
Oh, you don't like Devin Singletary?
no, I do not. He's a one-hit wonder. Damian Pierce, he's not good. Give me a running back for that team.
Yeah, I'm actually. I mean, I'll agree with Big E, running back. I think they need to sign a running back. Looking at it, let's go ahead and get Steelers underway.
Steelers, man. Quarterback. I mean, let's be real. We need a quarterback. Everything else is fine on that team. Our defense is a top 5 defense in the league. Our running backs are very consistent. Our O-line could maybe add some depth to it. But more than anything, a quarterback. That is it. That is what we need as a quarterback for that team.
I'm going to go with we need a quarterback. That's 100%. We also need a consistent offensive coordinator. Until we get that, our offense is not going to pound out to be nothing. So we got to find an offensive coordinator.
Listen. You don't need. I mean, offensive coordinator. Mike Tomlin's going to win games.
Yes.
It don't matter who you hire as your offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. Mike Tomlin's going to win games.
Absolutely.
But he's never going to win big until you get a quarterback. And I've told you that for years. Kenny Pickett was not the answer. No. Rudolph was not the answer. Any guy that you've had since Big Ben has not been the answer. But, as Steelers fans, both of you have yet to see that. But I think you're starting to see that now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We've seen it. We just don't want to admit it.
Y'all stood by Kenny Pickett like he was the best quarterback come out of that draft.
Well,
yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
He was the best quarterback to come out of the draft.
Who is the best quarterback out of that draft?
Because that was a bad.
Kenny Pickett is.
Who was in that draft?
Exactly.
That's the bad thing. They wasn't nobody good. I don't think he's the only starter that.
They're really.
Didn't he get drafted the same year Lamar did?
Lord, no.
Big Ben's last year was 2020, so he's on.
Yeah, you're thinking, man, Lamar Jackson was a quarterback when he was in high school.
He was the, he was the only quarterback to go first round. Kenny Pickett was.
Yes.
Okay, well, moving on. Let's see here.
Miami Dolphins.
No, let's go Patriots.
The Patriots.
What don't they need is the question.
Yeah, they need to go ahead and just let Bill Belichick be done with coaching, first off. He has done his due diligence with that team. I feel like he's fed up himself. He's not getting what he needs out of those players. Just hand it off to another coach and then see what they can do from there. That's what I'm going to say. Give the team to somebody else.
I disagree. I don't think you get rid of Belichick. I think he doesn't need to be the GM anymore. I think you go out and find a GM that's going to bring in some talent, that will have good draft picks. I don't think they've had a good draft pick in a while. So I would go out and I would fire him as GM and find me a good GM.
I would do that. I mean, I see where both of you are coming from, but you need a quarterback. You got to have a quarterback. They ain't got a quarterback. In this league, it's a quarterback-powered league, man. Yeah. If you don't have a good quarterback, you can't.
The MVP, who was it always?
But it's a quarterback. But, honestly, I will also say this league's a coach's league. Yep. You look at the Texans have been awful for D'Amico Ryans comes in. Coach, man. Flat-out coach.
Alma mater. I mean, he
look
played
at the
there.
line. Look at the lines, coach. Flat-out coach. Look at the Steelers. Coach, flat-out coach. Man. You know what I mean? Like, you look at John Harbaugh. Ravens are always going to be competitive because John Harbaugh's there. I mean, it just is what it is. This league is a coach's league. Yeah. It's just it is what it is. Moving on, we're just going to do a couple more of these teams. Let's go ahead and go Dolphins.
Dolphins, man. I think this team is good. I think that they're good. They don't need to really add anything. They've got what they need to win. It's just, can they do it?
Yeah.
They need Tua to stay healthy. That's it.
Consistency is their biggest thing. I think you've got to be consistent in both sides of all three phases: special teams, defense, and offense. Yep. They're not real consistent. One game they'll put up 70 points. One game they'll put up 19. I mean, it's not consistent. So you got to find that to win big games.
Yep.
No, they need a defense. Their defense is awful.
You think so?
Their defense is awful. One of the worst in the leagues. If they can't outscore their opponent, if they're having a bad offensive day, they can't compete. Look at every game that they've had to where they've put up under 20 points. Say under 20 points, they've got beat. Look at it. I mean, Baltimore literally blew them out because they couldn't keep up on offense because their defense. I mean, their defense can't keep their offense off the field. They're just off. That plays the role a lot with injuries. I will say that they have a lot of injured defensive players, but right now going into the postseason, their defense is, nothing special, nothing. It's their offense that's great. They have the best offense in the league. Defensively, they're terrible. You got to have a good balance. Couple more. Let's go. San Francisco 49ers.
49ers, man, that really is an all-star team. Like.
Listen, I'm saying we're good on the 49ers.
Yeah.
I mean, they got beat by the Ravens, and I was great.
Dude,
I think if I did say something, I would say they're
an all-pro team.
I would say quarterback. I don't think
Really?
Brock Purdy's the man. I think that his arm is weak.
Any kind of quarterback
I don't
that
think
comes
he's
into
strong
that
enough
system,
for the league. I don't think their quarterback's strong.
I think any quarterback that comes into that system is going to excel well, regardless of who it is.
Yeah, but think about if you put a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a quarterback of that stature
Well, you
in
put
that team,
Patrick
that's
Mahomes,
really an
Lamar
all-star
Jackson on any team, they're going to be good. They're just good. They're just good players, good quarterbacks. They're going to win games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of.
And if you bring in a good quarterback, you take money away from the other guys you got around.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that they've got a well-balanced team with the way that they have to pay them out because they've got so many star-studded defensive players to offensive players. It's just ridiculous. I'm good on the 49ers. They don't need to add anything. Kyle Shanahan is doing his thing. Leave the 49ers be. Save that money up and pay somebody big so you can keep them.
Last two, let's shift gears. Let's go to the college ranks. We're in the transfer.
do it. I
We're
love
in
this.
transfer time. Now, don't tell me the players you need. Tell me 1 to 2 positions you need on each of these teams to be more successful than you were last season. Okay, we're just talking positions. It's a New Year's game. Or are they good? Or
No.
Let's talk the Kentucky Wildcats first.
Kentucky Wildcats, guard central. I mean, every single year we've got a backcourt that is.
We're talking football. Sam.
Oh, this is football?
Yeah.
My bad.
They're in the transfer portal. Basketball's not recruiting right now.
Well, listen, with the football team, we need a quarterback. Again, that was our biggest problem this year. Our quarterback situation, we had way too big of high hopes for Devin Leary. Any quarterback that plays the way that he does is obviously going to be good with NC State.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You come over to the SEC powerhouse conference. I mean, the best conference in college football. Let's be real.
Yeah. Historically.
You see exactly. It still is. And you see exactly how that pans out for him to come over into such a tougher schedule, face the teams that he had to face this season. He did.
100.
And, that was a lot of pressure for him to take on, to move from such a, and I won't say NC State is a smaller school, but they're not a football school.
Yeah.
They're not never thought about in football. More of a basketball than anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for him to have to come over to SEC and play like that, I'm glad he's leaving.
Yeah.
I'm glad that his tenure with Kentucky was one and done. We usually see that with Coach Cal, but now we see it with Stoops.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it because, now we're getting a quarterback from Georgia.
Yeah. Who didn't play, but
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
He still played under great players
Yeah.
and had a great coach in Kirby Smart. So, you see Georgia players leave, backups, and they go and they excel at any college that they go to after that because they have so much experience playing under those players. So I'm looking forward to Kentucky this year coming into the new season with a new quarterback.
For me, I got 2 things. We need a defensive coordinator. We should have beat Clemson. 40 seconds up 5.
Well, whenever you say that we're in lazy defense, why are we being lazy, first off?
Yeah.
Right. And my next thing is you need pass rushers. We have no pass rushers. We got guys coming in that I like that I think will get us there, but from the past with Brad White, we haven't had no pass rushers. You got to get to the quarterback if you're going to stop defenses. You got to get pressure on the quarterback, make them make bad throws, get sacks. That's momentum for the offense coming in. So that's the 2 things that we have to have.
I'm going to be the opposite of both of you. I think you need, for one, you need receivers, and for 2, you need a solid receiving coach. Because you guys, if you watch your games, Devin Lurie made some dime passes that your receivers drop
Yes.
passes all year long.
I will say that.
Drop passes all year long.
Fumbles,
There's no fumbles,
drop.
turnovers. It was awful all year long.
We got rid of
Listen,
the.
So
I'm
I think you
sorry,
need to bring
I
in
don't wanna
receivers
sit
and
here
receiving
I don't
coaches.
want to sit here and say that we need receivers because our receiving core is very, very talented. They just need a receivers coach, like you say. And, guess who they're linking to that? Chad Ochocinco.
No, we done hired one from Houston. We got Houston's wide receiving coach, the one we
Nice.
had before.
Yeah, we
He's
had him
gone.
before.
So,
Well, breaking news.
Yep. That's been
Okay,
out for a while,
moving
so-
on. Last one, real quick. Louisville. What do they need to have the more successful season next year?
Well, they need a quarterback as well. You losing Jack Plummer, which wasn't necessarily that good.
Yeah.
Are y'all losing your running back, or you have him for another season?
We've got two coming in. We just got a
But you
commitment
also
the
have
other
your
night from
backup,
Toledo.
which done very well for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say your quarterback.
Yeah.
Defense is
We're losing Jamari Thrash, both are running backs, and Jack Plummer on the offensive side. So,
well. I mean, I don't know how well your other receivers are from Jamari Thrash, so I might even.
Well, we
throw
got the
in-
5-star commit from Alabama,
Okay.
the wide
well,
receiver,
that
the
don't-
Brooks. His name,
I would
Ja'Cory Brooks, I think's his name. He's a 5-star receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would still say quarterback, honestly, more than anything.
I would say O-line. I mean, when you play Kentucky, Jack Plummer, he was under pressure most of the game. You got to get an offensive line in there to protect your quarterback to win big games like that.
We should say that for
Listen.
Kentucky too, honestly, man.
Yeah.
That's another reason in why Devin Leary didn't play
Well,
very well is because he was getting sacked so much
with
and getting so
Louisville,
much pressure. on him.
with Louisville, I'm not going to say quarterback just for the sole fact that a lot of people don't know, but we got Pierce Clarkson. He's a freshman that we do have a quarterback committed from Texas Tech, but he don't need to start. Pierce Clarkson's the man, dude. If we don't start Pierce Clarkson, he'll be another Jordan Travis that we let slip out of our hands. You know, Jordan Travis, Florida State's quarterback, was at Louisville. That's where he committed to at high school, and he didn't get a play. They played in Lake Cunningham over him when Scott Satterfield got there, so he transferred out.
Well, in all honesty,
so-
let's be real. Malik Cunningham was a very good quarterback.
He was a very good quarterback, yes. We just didn't have the
I
coaching
mean,
to
he
go
was
with
he
it.
was the
Yeah.
first thing that y'all seen since
But-
Lamar Jackson done his little thing. He was kind of like a second coming of
Yeah,
that. to y'all.
defensively, we're fine. Ron English is going to figure it out. Ron English is before coming to Purdue, where he was before Louisville. Before coming to Purdue and Louisville, his only stops were in SEC schools as defense coordinators, linebackers coach. He even had a head coaching job for a little bit. So I mean, our defense is going to be fine. Offensively, we got to do, which we've done a good job in the portal getting tight ends, but we've got to do a better job with our offensive line. And Brian Baum has to let. I think your quarterbacks coach and your offensive coordinator should be two different people.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
And right now, our offensive coordinator, Brian Baum, is doing both. And I think you need to get a quarterbacks coach in there, let the quarterbacks have their own coach so that Brian can focus more on the whole offense. So, yeah. Okay, so we've got one more question before we go to break and get back to high school. Nick Saban. Reports come out that Nick Saban, if he would have won the national title,
He was gonna retire.
He was going to retire.
No way he's retiring.
Does he still retire?
No.
I don't think Nick Saban retired. I don't see him retiring. I think he dies on the football field. That's his whole
No.
life.
He will
I don't
retire.
He's done his due
He'll
diligence.
retire. Yeah.
He
eventually.
has won a lot of championships, and he's done a lot of great things in the college football period. He will go down as one of, if not the best.
Oh, the
college
best. It
football
ain't one of. It's the best college coach of all time.
And no, the way that Alabama loses that game against a very good Michigan team,
Yeah, very well coached.
right? Very, very good team too.
Yeah.
Not just very well coached. They're a very good team.
That defense
I think
is crazy.
that Alabama still has something to prove. Especially with people already counting them out at the beginning of this season and then making the college football playoffs. So yeah, I think Nick Saban comes back, and I think he's gonna do his thing and try and take back over the SEC from Georgia. I think that's his main goal, is to come back in and make the college football playoffs again, and maybe even meet a SEC team in the championship.
Will he retire or no?
The thing is, for me, when is Alabama going to win another one? Is it? Everybody's getting so good. There's so many more competitive teams that's coming in. Does Alabama win one here soon? That's the thing. Is he going to stay until they win one, or does he give it another year and say, if I don't win it this year, I'm done? That's where I'm at on it. I don't think he retires, but I guess we'll just have to see how.
I can't wait for the 12.
I don't
team.
think that he retires until he wins another one,
Yeah.
unless he dies first.
No, I agree with you.
I don't
that's the
think he
same
retires.
thing.
He has to win one. He has to end on top. Nick Saban has to end on the top before he retires.
He's like a person in an argument. He has to always have the last word.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So, guys, moving on, we've got Sammy's Top 10 coming up after this short break. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you. Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better. If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
MGC Supply is your complete source for drainage and erosion control products. MGC Supply also sells services and installs Cummings generators. MGC Supply sells and delivers limestone gravel for businesses and homeowners. MGC Supply is your solution supplier and is proud to sponsor all the teams in Eastern Kentucky. 2590 U.S. Highway 23 South Pottville, Kentucky, 41501. Give them a call today at 606-433-0077. Or you can call them at 606-794-6765.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back, Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host, Sam Collier, co-host, Big E, and we also just had my amazing concession operations management, Chris Anderson over there giving us a big wave. Guys, one of these days we're going to get you on the show, Chris. One of these days we'll get you on here. Awesome. Okay, guys, here we are. We're ready for the top 10. I know you guys haven't seen this list in a while. We're going to start off with girls, and I'm sorry, real quick before we get started, we're working back. I was late and very unprepared for this show, so I didn't get a picture of the top 10 to pop up tonight. So hopefully you guys will just stay on and listen. But
we may post it
next
later in the
week we will pop one up on the show. Okay, so Sammy, go ahead and take us through your top 10.
Yeah, man. All right, coming in at number 10, I got a new team breaking into my top 10 this week. I got Breathitt County. They're taking the place of Leslie County's 10 spot on the last episode. They're 11-3 on the season. Got some pretty good wins. They played against some other teams that are, that they're going to beat. They played against Cordia and, Buckhorn, teams that ain't really got no wins on the season. But they have played some very competitive games, and they've came out on top. I got to put Breathitt in there at 11-3, number 10. Number 9, I'm going to make Big E happy with this one, y'all. I got Letcher County Central, got the Cougars
Love to
in
see
it.
it.
Number 9, Keith Baker, just like Tyler Little said earlier, is doing a phenomenal job with this team and these girls. They have really persevered through a lot of these games, tough games, really big wins. Mm-hmm. And, their most recent win against Knott County Central, big rivalry game. And, You know, I gotta give credit
2-0
where it's
against them
due.
this year,
Yeah,
too.
I gotta give credit where it's due. You know, FCC balling out on the girls' side, 8-5, very good team. Number 8, I got Leslie County. You know, they bump up 2 spots in my top 10. You know, this team going into the break, they was 5-2. And now they're 7-3, you know, and they played against a very tough schedule so far. So for them to be able to come into this season like they have and have 7 wins over these tough teams, I've got to give them credit where it's due as well and have them at my number 8 spot. Number 7, another new team, Betsy Lane. You know, they got to come in. Corey Thacker's doing an amazing job with this group of girls. I love how he's doing his coaching style with them, getting them prepared for these big-time matchups. You know, the defense that they play is phenomenal. Very good big man. And, you know, they're big. She's averaging a double-double as well. This team, the sky's the limit for Betsy Lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're really good. And number 6, I got Lawrence County. You know, they're 10-5 on the season, doing a very good job, you know. I got them at my number 6. At number 5, I've got Perry. You know, Perry, it was really a hard, you know, pick between this 5 and 6 spot because Perry and Lawrence are both 10-5. But Perry beat Lawrence. So that right there solidifies their spot above Lawrence, and that's why I got them at the number 5 spot. This team's doing a really good job, you know, and they're going to continue to do good. They've got a very good team. Number 4, I got the Lady Hornets at number 4 again, man. Coach McCoy's doing a very, very wonderful job with that young team that he has. He doesn't have a single senior on his squad. I mean, for them to maintain a winning record like this and to continue to get better game after game, I've got to have them in my top 5. They have to be there. They deserve it. They deserve to be at that number 4
Think about
spot.
next year, too, man. Those seniors.
Oh, my gosh, man. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous, you know. Shout out to Justin. He's an amazing coach and an even more amazing person, you know. I enjoy the conversation that we had at the beginning of our talk show. You know, he was our first guest, and he'll always have that. He was our first guest, and Coach, I have 100% faith in your team, and I look forward to being able to watch this team come tournament time because I think that they're going to upset a lot of teams. Number 3, we got Martin. Martin is in at number 3. They're 11-4 on the season. You know, when the break started, they was 7-2. I mean, they've won 4 out of their last 5. That's awesome. You know, I love that. This team is doing a really good job, and they're going to continue to do good for the rest of the season. Martin always has a very good team. On the ladies' side, you know, and the men's. You know, they're both very good teams, but this girls' team is no joke. And number 2, it's a shocker. Pikeville Panthers at my number 2. You know, I'm very high on this team. You know, this is a very good team. But my sole reason for them being at my number 2 is they've not played as many games as Johnson Central, who was my number 1 this week. Johnson Central, the Lady Golden
Eagles.
Yes, that's right. No, listen, I'm joking. Shout out to my boy Cam Warwicks. You know, he's doing a phenomenal job on that bench. And shout out to their head coach,
Jim Hicks.
Yeah, Johnson Central, I mean, this is a team not to be, you know, reckoned with. They're awesome. This is an amazing team. Their defense is grade A defense. It's number 1. I love it. I love the run and gun offense. I mean, half of their points are off a fast break.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, probably about 75% of their points are off the fast break. I mean, This team is fast. They get to it, and they just get down to business. That's my top 10 for the girls.
Big E, you got anything?
No, I think it's good. I don't know much on the girls' side of the ball. I love to see my Cougs in there. You know, they're putting in the hard work.
I knew I would have you a little stoked for that.
Yeah, I love seeing they're putting in the hard work. They're winning some games.
They are.
Hopefully, they continue to move on up the list. You know, and I think it's a good list.
Man, you know, and a lot of people won't like what I'm about to say. But whenever if it was me doing a top 10, whenever I would go to do a top 10, I would not only look at record, but look at the strength of schedule.
Yeah.
And I think there's some teams on here that has had a weaker schedule than others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at teams. I mean, for instance, you could say like Pikeville's had a hard schedule.
Yes.
And they've not had many like just cupcake wins. Like they've played tough. Mm-hmm. Like honestly, Pikeville and Johnson's going to be 1 and 2 regardless.
Yeah.
But I think you could argue that Pikeville's schedule's been tougher. They might not have played as many games, but their schedule's been tougher than Johnson's. So you could argue that. You know, like you said, you know, Coach McCoy and Phelps, you know, they do deserve to be in that top 5. I would probably put Perry ahead of them. I think that Phelps they're a good squad, but they have played a weaker schedule. So it goes off base strength of schedule. And, you know, I think, you know, Betsy Lane's going to be a little higher as we get through these weeks. You know, I think Betsy Lane's they've played a little bit tougher schedule. They're coming to. They're coming together.
The first part of the season was a little rocky road for them, but
Corey Thacker, man, I've known this guy since I started coaching. Me and his been great friends, and like this guy has energy. Like if there's one thing, the best attribute about Coach Thacker from my standpoint, I think is the energy he brings to a game.
Yeah.
It don't matter who he's coaching, where he's coaching. This guy brings the energy, and he can flat out get you motivated to win a ball game. I've watched him do it on the boys' side. I'm now getting to watch him do it on the girls' side of things, and just hats off to Coach Thacker and the Lady Bobcats.
I actually want to say, hey, Coach Thacker, check out the cut, man. I think I'm looking a little bit like you with the beard and the hair right now, man.
I wouldn't go that far.
Like Corey would say, you ain't looking that good yet.
That's right. Not as good as you, Coach, but I'm trying.
No, but all in all, this looks fine. I mean, I'd like to see, I think eventually Chevy Valley's going to be in this list. I think you're going to see Pike Central get back to this list. I think you're going to see Prestonsburg get back to this list.
Absolutely.
And especially, you know, I think you're going to see Hazard get back to this list. These are the teams that I just named off are teams that are going to win. They're going to win in this second half of the season.
That, you know, is just like these Christmas tournaments and all these holiday tournaments and everything. You know, you're going to face the best of the best.
Yeah.
And it's really going to test your patience, and it's really
hard coming off a break.
Right.
You know, it's hard.
It's really hard coming into the second part of the season. So hopefully we get to see them fight through that and continue to be great like we know they can be.
Most definitely. Guys, when we come back, we'll have the boys' top 10. You're not going to want to miss this. We're back with you in just a second.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better.
MGC Supply is your complete source for drainage and erosion control products. MGC Supply also sells services and installs Cummings generators. MGC Supply sells and delivers limestone gravel for businesses and homeowners. MGC Supply is your solution supplier and is proud to sponsor all the teams in Eastern Kentucky. 2590 U.S. Highway 23 South Pikeville, Kentucky, 41501. Give them a call today at 606-433-0077. Or you can call them at 606-794-6765.
If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
Welcome back, Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, co-host Big E. Guys, we appreciate you staying tuned. It's time for the boys' top 10. And once again, please remember that I was unprepared. It's completely my fault that we don't have pictures for the top 10. We will get back to that next show next week whenever we have the Breathitt County Boys Bobcats on here. Austin Sperry and Coach Jeff Honeycutt's going to be right here on this show. You're not going to want to miss Austin Sperry being here. I'm telling you guys right now.
One of the most electrifying
that.
players out of the 14th, 15th, 13th, 12th. I don't care. Out of Kentucky, he is. He's an electrifying player. I love watching that kid play. He can really light it up.
Speaking of the boys, Sam, why don't you go ahead and take us through your top 10?
Absolutely. Coming in at my 10th spot, they was at my 7th spot the last time that I had gave you all my top 10. Martin County, they're 7-7 on the season. They've really came out of their shell. They was 2-4 when I had them at that 7th spot, and the reason being I had them at that 7th spot is because this is a good team and they faced a very tough schedule, like Ethan said. They're 7-7 now, okay. So now they're 5-3 coming into the new year. They've really came out of their shell, like I said. I think that they're doing a great job. They've got a really good team, but again, their schedule, it's going to continue to get harder and harder going into tournament play. So give me Martin at 10 right now. I can't take them out yet. At number 9, I got Pike Central. Pike Central's at my number 9. I had them at my 10th spot the last time that we done this, so they bump up one. They're 6-6 on the season now. They was 1-4. So now they've won 5 games and only lost 2. They've turned their season
and they
around.
beat a very big state contender, Boyd County team. At the PIT, that was a big win for them.
Very, very big win for them.
What's hurting them right now is one of their starting guards, Jake Sloan's out with a shoulder injury.
Yes.
And I think that's what kept them from beating Boyd last night in the 2A state regional championship. Was him being out, because he was a big factor in the first time they beat them. I think that's what kept them from beating them. That was the factor.
Pike Central is just a very good team, and I will still continue to say that I still think that they are one of the best teams in the 15th, if not the best team in the 15th. It's just hard whenever you have so many rivalries in that same region.
Yep.
Every team is coming at your neck. Everybody has a rivalry with you because it's who wants to be top dog that year. So, give me Pike Central at number 9. Let's move forward to number 8, Floyd Central. I had them at my 4 spot the last time we done this. They dropped down 4 spots for me, only for the sole fact that they was 5-2. Now they're 7-6. They've lost 4 out of their last 6. I don't know. They must be really in a slump, because I've seen this team play, and this team is very good. This is a very good team out of Floyd County, and their feeder schools are doing amazing too, might I add. We got to host a little D-team tournament last night, and Floyd ends up winning that. So, Floyd is just doing very, very good things over there in that area. But, I'm going to have them at my number 8 right now. I didn't think that I should drop them, because I know that this is also a very good team, and they can defeat very good teams. Number 7, I don't think that I've had them in my top 10 this year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think
did. The first one.
Was
first ever one.
It was the first one. They've not been in it since the first week of the show. Pikeville Panthers, they're in at number 7. They're coming in. They're 6-3. They're off to a hot start to start this new year off. you know, I kind of had some mixed feelings with them after they played how they did to start the season off. But now, they've turned things around. Coach Elijah Justice is doing his thing with them boys, and don't be surprised if they start beating a lot of 15th region teams. Just letting you know, Pikeville's here. Pikeville's
always here.
Yeah, Pikeville's Pikeville. Let's be real. Number 6, I got Paintsville. Paintsville is 8-5. They break back into this top 10. You know, I think that they haven't been in it in a few weeks as well. And whenever I had my 6
I don't think Paintsville's been in it at all.
Have they never been in?
I've not seen Paintsville. Yeah, I don't think Paintsville's been in.
So this is their first time being in.
Yep.
Wow. You know, I thought I had them in one. I could have sworn I had them in a low spot.
You had Paintsville girls
Yeah.
in one,
Okay.
but not boys.
Well, listen, they're coming in at my 6th spot. They're coming in hot. They're playing good. They beat some very, very good teams, and they take the place of Magoffin County. You know, Magoffin was at my number 6 spot the last time we had this, and they've just – I don't know what's happened with them. You know, they've lost 5 games already since the last time that we had them in this. I don't know what's going on. I guess it just lacks, you know, whenever you got that one-star player.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and then that's it. You know, and I'm not saying Magoffin is a bad team. I still think that they can compete with a lot of teams. But, you know, for them to have lost 5 games, they must be in a slump as well. Same as Floyd.
Yeah.
You know, 2 good teams in a slump. You got to work your way out of it. But the reason being they dropped out of this is because they have 5 losses already out of 8 games. So I had to drop them out. At number 5, you know, they dropped down a few spots. I had them at number 2 the last time we done this. You know, we're bringing them on next week. And I got Breathitt County. Breathitt County at my 5 spot. You know, they're 7-4 on the season. The last time that we got to show y'all their records, they've won 3 and they've lost 3. So they're split, but that also comes in the fact that you've played some very, very tough opponents in these tournament plays and against, you know, a couple other teams out of state, might I add. You know, not even Kentucky teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't put that against them because this Breathitt County team is a team that a lot of other teams really fear going into the game. Like they just fear them.
They're electric.
They are. They really are. And that's why I got them at my number 5 spot. At number 4, you know, this team was at my 9 spot last time. And they just keep on lighting it up. They keep doing what nobody thought they would. Prestonsburg. I got Prestonsburg at number 4, man. They're 10-5 on the season. They was 4-3 the last time that I showed y'all this. So, man, they've won 6 and they've only lost 2 out of 8 games. I mean, this team, they're a hustling team. This team is a hustling team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They've got a very good big man in Connor Napier. I mean, would you like to say that their big man is just very, very well?
Yeah, they've got a good big man. But I tell you, man, a big focal point for Prestonsburg and why they've been winning so many games has been, you know, Keithley's ball handling, you know, and being able to control that offense. But also, man, Estridge.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that game with Phelps the other day, and like he was just on the floor, like, and it's not like that he's like the most talented player in the world.
Right.
But like he does every little thing that no other player wants to do. He gets on the floor, he dives after balls, he plays good defense, and he lets his he lets defense create his points.
When I
you know what I mean? And I really respect that.
Hustle,
He's just hustling hard, man. He's
Yes,
like nobody's taking his spot because he's going to hustle hard and keep that locked in.
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, coming in at my number 3, I've got Knott County Central. You know, they was at number 3 last time. They're staying at number 3. They're 10-3. There's a lot of threes, ain't there?
Yeah.
No, listen, they was 6-2 going into the break. They're 10-3 now. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They beat some very good teams. They beat LCC yet again. You know, so this team, man, Jaden Huff.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real. He got. Actually, I would like to congratulate Jaden Huff for getting his 1,000th point for Knott County the other night. You know, that's a great, huge milestone to have for a high school career, to be able to light it up like that and put that many points up in your high school playing days is just phenomenal, you know.
Yeah.
That is going to be something that people will remember forever. You know, people will always talk about that got to watch him or got to play with him or got to coach him, you know. They will always bring that with them, you know. So, shout out to Jaden Huff. You know, you're doing an amazing job, brother. Coming in at number 2, this team was at the 8th spot last time I done this. They was at 8. They're at number 2. Lawrence County, man. 11-3. They're lighting it up. They're lighting it up, son. They was 6-2 going into the break. Now they're 11-3. Come on. Let's just be real. This team knows how to play defense. They know how to shoot the 3-ball. They know how to get back on defense and create, you know, offense off of their defense.
Yeah.
This is a very big team too. Like, they're strong. Not like very like big, but they're strong. Like they're just a very physical team, and I don't think teams were ready for that. Coming in at number 1, and they've been sitting there for a pretty hot minute, I think, for me now.
Yeah, they have.
The Hazard Bulldogs. I mean, you know, I looked at their schedule the other day, and to see the teams that they've beat, the out-of-state teams that they've beat, to go into all these Christmas tournaments and all these play days and all this stuff, man, it's just like, who's going to beat them around here?
Right.
Who's going to beat Hazard? I mean, that's the real question of the night, is what team that they face from around here is going to knock them off? Because we've yet to see it. We've yet to see it. They're going to continue to be my number 1 until I see somebody beat them from around here. And I will wholeheartedly say that right now. Hazard Bulldogs, you're doing a phenomenal job this season.
Big E.
You know, looking at the list, I like the list. The only thing I would say with it is I would move Breathitt above Prestonsburg.
Mm-hmm.
I think Breathitt's a better team than Prestonsburg. I think they've had a harder schedule. So I would flip-flop them two. You know, I think Knott's good. I don't know much about Lawrence. Hazard, man, I mean, Al Holland, what can you say? He wins games. He's going to win games. It doesn't matter who he's got on his team. They play fundamental ball. They play hard. They make shots. You can always count on an Al Holland team to be good.
Absolutely.
So I like the list. That's all I got to say about it.
I think, man, you know, here's the thing. I think you got to flip Pike Central and Floyd Central. Pike Central just beat them. Mm-hmm. They just beat them by 10. You got to flip it. I mean, I'm coming into this game. You look at you just beat them by 10 in the 2A sectional regional
Did Floyd
tournament.
Central not beat them before that though?
No.
Are you sure?
They haven't played yet. I'm pretty sure they haven't. I can look real quick.
I'll look at you over there looking at scores.
Let's see. No, they haven't played yet. So,
Okay.
So no, yeah, I would. You have to flip those two. It's no knock to Floyd Central, but if you lose the game, you know, you obviously that shows who the better team is at that time. Then you look up, and man, I don't know. I don't know that you don't flip Pikeville and Paintsville. You know, before I fully say that, I want to see Pikeville play Shelby Valley.
Yep.
Because Paintsville ran a close game with Shelby Valley a few nights ago. But your top 5, man, you know, looking at Lawrence County, they're always good. Lawrence County is always good. They're traditionally good. Coach Al Holland, man, don't come no better. I mean, he's Hall of Fame.
What about two teams being Bulldogs?
He's a 500 win coach.
The two top teams are Bulldogs.
Yeah. And then you look at Coach Casey Huff's doing his thing up there. We knew what was going to happen with Knott County Patriots. We talked about it. We talked about it with him here. We talked about it with him not being here. We knew what Knott County was going to be.
Yes.
I'm fine with them being there. I'm fine with Prestonsburg being where they're at. You know, I know Big E said to flip them, and I like Breathitt County. I think Breathitt County's a good team. I think they're a well-coached team. But, man, give Prestonsburg the respect they are. You know, they've earned.
Absolutely.
They've ran
where it's due.
And I think Breathitt to me is they've got Sperry, but now they're right there with Knott, Letcher.
Right.
And if you look at the scores, Prestonsburg's right there with Knott and Letcher.
Yep.
I mean, They took Letcher to overtime.
Man, I'm gonna tell you,
You
right
know,
now.
so
you know,
I mean, I'm
Prestonsburg
fine
just-
with this top 5.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. The sole fact for Prestonsburg hitting that number 4 spot, man, is watching them and their hustle. I'm telling you, man, there ain't.
Well, and Chase's energy is, it's really good. I like his energy, man. I like his energy, and I think they play hard.
They
They're
play
not,
hard
They're not.
for-
I will say this: they're not the most talented team in the region.
No, but they
when you
hustle,
play
man.
them, you know they're coming. You know they're
Yes,
coming.
I love that.
And
I love
So and they did I watched the Phelps game, and Daryl Keithley did a great job on the call, guys. But I watched the Phelps game, and I watched Phelps stay close for about 3.5 quarters. And then once Prestonsburg took Weddington out of the game, they sit down on him, they doubled him, they did what they had to do. It kind of started getting one-sided.
Yep.
And for them to recognize and for those adjustments to be made, that's what it takes coming into postseason is
Yes, it
adjustments and recognize what needs to be done and how it needs to be done and the energy it takes to win these big games. That's what me as a coach myself, I know that's what it takes. And sometimes players buy into. Most of the time, players buy into it. Sometimes they don't. But the ones who do buy in are the ones that are most successful. You have to buy into your system to be successful. So I'm fine with that. Guys, when we come back, we want to have Pick'ems right up next. We got 2 more segments. You're not going to want to miss this. Pick'ems as soon as we come back. We'll be back with you in just a second.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you. If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
MGC Supply is your complete source for drainage and erosion control products. MGC Supply also sells services and installs Cummings generators. MGC Supply sells and delivers limestone gravel for businesses and homeowners. MGC Supply is your solution supplier and is proud to sponsor all the teams in Eastern Kentucky. 2590 U.S. Highway 23, South Pottville, Kentucky, 41501. Give them a call today at 606-433-0077. Or you can call them at 606-794-6765.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout Eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, co-host Big E. Guys, we appreciate you sticking around for these pick'em segments. Listen, I honestly think this is what everybody watches for.
Yeah.
I swear everybody wants to watch these pick'em segments. Plus,
They want to
the
see who
player
we
and
pick.
coaches interviews. But our favorite segment is these pick'em segments, okay? And beforehand, I've got to say, guys, I've held on to the lead on the records for long enough. I decided to give them a week to catch up, and actually they've done very well, so let's go over these records. Coach Sam comes in with a 39-34 record. It's a winning record, more improvement than the last time he had.
Yeah, 'cause
he's had a losing record all year, so now he's finally gotten the winning mark.
Hey, 5 wins in the winning
And
mark.
then this is where it gets tricky. Big E goes up on me by one game.
That's right.
One game, 45-28. I'm sitting at 44-29. He's up. I'm one game behind him, so I've got to catch up this week. Let's dive into these pick'em, guys. First up, we've got Lawrence County at Belfry.
Lawrence County.
I'm taking Lawrence County as well. Next up, we've got Jenkins at Hazard in the All-A.
Give me Hazard.
Hazard.
Yeah, listen. You know what? I'm gonna be the oddball here. Give me Jenkins.
Okay.
Give me Jenkins in an upset in the All-A. I think Coach Whitaker gets it done. I think he gets the job done. I'm gonna take Richie and that crew. Give me Jenkins. Moving on, I've got Paintsville at Floyd Central.
Listen, you know, I have the utmost respect for Tyler Little coming on and bringing his girls on here. But, man, I'm going to have to go with Paintsville. They're just a very good girls team, you know. And like Coach Little says, he's got a very young squad, and this is going to be a learning experience for them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sam. Give me Paintsville as well.
Yeah, we've got to knock this out of the park. Give me Paintsville. Moving on, we've got Belfry at Letcher Central.
Ooh, give me Letcher Central.
Give me the Cougs all day.
I will take Letcher to win this game because they very much need it.
Give me the Cougs.
Yeah.
All three of us taking the Cougs. I'm taking the Cougs in that game. Next, we've got June Buchanan at Jenkins.
Jenkins. Give me Jenkins. Give me the Lady Cavs to take this game.
Give me Coach Whitaker and the Lady Cavs.
Give me the Lady Cavs too. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them again. I'm going to be the 2-0. Guys, we're matching up on a lot of these picks. Y'all going to have to.
Guys, and we only have one pen here, and we're trying to keep up with the games, so that's why we're passing it around a lot.
It's my fault. Like I said earlier, I come unprepared, so we only have one pen. We're passed around the table. We got Knott County Lady Patriots at Betsy Lane. Two coaches we really have utmost respect for.
Absolutely.
Who you got in this game?
Listen, you know, I'm going to have to go with Betsy Lane. They're doing a very good job right now, and this Knott County Central team, Coach Huff, she's doing a phenomenal job, you know. Very great basketball mind, but they have to be in a slump or something for them to have lost so many games in the past 5 games, you know. So this Betsy Lane team is trending, and Knott County is going down right now. So maybe they can meet in the middle and have a very good game, but right now I'm going to have to go with the Betsy Lane.
You know, I've seen the Lady Patriots play at their best, and I've seen them play at their worst. So, you know, and I believe in this team. They got some girls that can play. Give me the Lady Patriots.
You know, I agree with Big E so much. Man, listen, Knott County's itching for that win. Itching for that win. Once you got that itch, you're going after it until you get it. And I think that they're going to get it right here. I think it's going to be a close game. This game hits close to home for Coach Thacker. I know it does, Coach Corey Thacker. Because you got to think, before taking this job, he was under Megan's husband, Casey, at Prestonsburg for a year. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. And I think it's a no bigger than 5-point game. Give me Knott County. Next, we've got Phelps at Prestonsburg.
Ooh.
Phelps in your top 5.
They are in my top 5. Prestonsburg, they dropped out of my
They dropped out of your top 10.
They dropped out of my top 10. Listen, I'm going with the Lady Hornets. They're on a roll right now, and I don't see them losing slack in that rope until they do.
Yeah.
So give me the Lady Hornets.
You know, I'm going. Golly. Go ahead. Give me Prestonsburg. I'm gonna take Prestonsburg here.
Yeah, I'm a Big E again. Give me P-Burg. I think that Coach Kidd gets it done. Coach Kidd's a winner, man.
Yeah.
I think Coach McCoy is playing really good, but I still want to see Coach McCoy get that big win. He can do it here, but I want to see it before my mind changes on this game, on these type games. So give me P-Burg. Yeah. Next, we've got another Phelps game. Paintsville at Phelps.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Paintsville is just – they're a very, very good team.
Yeah.
Like I say. I may actually draw the end of the line with Phelps. You know, Paintsville is just Paintsville.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Paintsville for this game.
Give me Paintsville as well.
You know what? I'm going to be the oddball right here. Give me Coach McCoy. I think that when he's going to get a big win. This team is destined to get a big win. I think this is going to be the game right here at home against the Paintsville Lady Tigers. Give me Phelps.
You got 3 Paintsville games on here.
Next, we've got Estill County at Perry.
Give me Perry.
Perry.
Give me Perry too. Moving on, we've got last game, Paintsville at Johnson Central.
Johnson Central.
Johnson Central.
This is rival, man. This is rival. And listen, every rival game, every big-time rivalry game, when the gym is packed, games on the line, man, both teams play phenomenal. I mean, it's neck to neck.
Yeah.
Johnson ain't going to come in here and just get this win like it's going to be easy. Like, it's not. And I'm going to be the oddball. Give me Paintsville.
Okay.
Give me Paintsville. Wow. I think the energy is up. Johnson Central's going to be overlooking them. Give me Paintsville. I think they get it done right there. Guys, that is our top 10 girls games for this week. When we come back, we'll have our last segment. Pick them on the boys' side. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you. If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
This is Bruce Walters from Bruce Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Welcome back, Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, co-host Big E, and I've got to give a big shout-out to our new producer, Sammy Whitaker, in the background, doing great things. And the reason you guys are getting the quality that you're getting and we're being able to start on time and no technical difficulties is right there behind that computer. So thank you, Sammy, for being here. Had to give a shout-out to you, my man. So let's go over this one more time for anybody who's just now tuning in. Coach Sam is sitting at 39-34. Big E is sitting at 45-28. Yep. I'm sitting at 44-29, one game behind Big E. That's our records. And for those of you that didn't get to watch the last show, at the end of the season, there's only one winner in Pick'em. Whoever is the one winner gets to put a pie in the face live on air of the two losers, okay? So this race means a lot to us sitting here. So I hope you guys are enjoying every minute of it. Guys, let's go on over to the boys' side. Let's start right with the team that's going to be here next week. Breathitt County at Wolfe County. Who you got?
I'm thinking Breathitt County.
Yeah, I talk high on the Bobcats. I'm gonna stick with them. Give me Breathitt.
You know, man, I see it, and I don't know if you guys seen this, but the last time Breathitt and Wolfe played at Breathitt,
it was only
a 5-point ball game.
Yep.
Breathitt won 65-60.
Yep.
But with that being said, Breathitt's very well coached, and they probably have the best player in the 14th region on their team in Austin Sperry. Now, another thing that's yet to mention is Wolfe County has an up-and-comer. Like when the Flincham kid gets junior and senior, he's just a freshman right now. Right. When he gets junior and senior, he will be an Austin Sperry type player. Mark it down. Flincham is going to be the man that's at Wolfe County. You know, he was at Jackson City last year. He's at Wolfe County this year. If he stays at Wolfe's under Coach Creech up there, I think he can be something special. But in this instance, right now, with Austin Sperry and Jeff Honeycutt and the way they're being coached and the way they're playing, I got to take Breathitt County as well. Moving on, we've got a district matchup: Floyd County at Prestonsburg. Who you got?
Give me Peaburg. You know, I'm gonna stick with them the way that they play. Floyd's in a slump right now. Prestonsburg is hustle. They're no matter what happens with them, if they miss their shots, they're gonna get it back on defense.
Yeah.
So I mean, give me Prestonsburg in this matchup.
You know, I like both of these teams,
I do
but
too.
I like Floyd more.
Okay.
I think Floyd's a good team. I think they've had their ups and downs this year, but I think they come in, district game, they need it, they want it. Give me Floyd.
Oh, yeah, I'm with Big E. Again, I'm sorry. I hate to keep agreeing with you, but I think Allen Joe Moore gets it done at Peaburg. I think it's a close game. I like both these teams. I like the energy Prestonsburg brings, but I think looking at the rosters going down, game for game, strength of schedule, everything, right now I've got to go with Floyd Central. I think they're on the boys' side. I think they're in the top of that district right now. So give me Floyd Central. Moving on, Johnson Central at McGoffin County.
I'm going to take Johnson Central in this. You know, they've got an all right record. I'm pretty sure that they're like 7-5 on the season. Maybe 8-5. I think it's 8-5 or 7-5. But you know, you can check if you want. But they're doing all right. And again, you know, when a team is in a slump, it's hard for me to pick a team that hasn't won 3 out of their last 5.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you lose 4 out of 6, that's just hard to really. It's hard to pick you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit here and say, well, I think that they're going to get this game. We don't know if they're going to get that game because they haven't won their last ones that they should have won, you know. So I'm going to go with Johnson Central.
I like McGoffin County here. I do. I think they got a good team. I think they can score the ball good. I ain't seen Johnson much. I know a little bit about McGoffin, and that's what I'm going to go with.
I gotta agree with Coach Sam. Give me Johnson.
Yeah.
I think Johnson gets it done. Pike Central at Paintsville.
You know, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good game, but Pike Central has turned the page. They're playing like they should have been at the beginning of the season. I'm going to go with Pike Central over Paintsville. I think that they're going to get the job done, and I think that they're going to be able to prove me right and get to move up in that top 10 and get back in that top 5 eventually. Give me Pike Central.
You know, both really good teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pike Central has the edge because they have more talent here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a region game. Is it a district game? Are they in the same district?
It's region.
Region. Okay. You know, they need it. They need these wins, these region wins, and just for confidence too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You have that good of a team, you have to win. You know, you got to have win more games. They're 7-7 right now, I think is what you said. So I'm going to take Pike Central as well.
Yeah, I think they're 6-6.
I love when we get to games.
Yes.
I love when we get to games that's within Sammy's top 10. And he just contradicts himself, right? Because he's sitting here and he's got Pike Central at 9, Paintsville at 6. Paintsville's literally itching at the top 5, and then he pulls an upset on them from Pike Central. I love when he does that. I think it's the funniest thing in the world. I think it's
on the last pick. Whenever
it
ain't
my top 10. It ain't my top 10.
And then you got
it ain't my top 10 I'm contradicting. It's on you. It's not me. I don't have a top 10.
It don't matter.
I don't have a top 10. It's your top 10.
It's the team that I think are going to win these games.
No, but I think that I'm with you guys. I think Pike Central gets it done. I do. I think Pike Central gets it done. I think Pike Central gets it done.
Sit there and think
Moving on.
Jenkins
at Hazard.
Jenkins at Hazard. I'm going with Hazard. I mean, you know, that's my number 1 team. I love Coach Winston to death. I love Coach Winston to death, and I think he's doing an amazing job here with these boys in this program. But you know, Hazard is a phenomenal basketball team right now. They're going to be hard to top off. I don't think that Jenkins is going to be able to do that. So give me Hazard.
I'm going to take Hazard as well.
Okay, listen. So Coach Lee and Coach Whitaker is going to have to give me each one game this year. Right, that I don't pick them. I've picked them in every game. I've picked you in every game. So whenever I make this pick, do not text me after this show. It's like, man, I can't believe you're betting against us. It's not. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for you to win. But in this case, I have to go with Hazard. I have to. Okay. I'm sorry. I've picked Jenkins all throughout the year. And, there's been a lot of games that I've picked on that you guys have been watching. I've truly believed that they're going to win it, So, and they've got a phenomenal record. Jenkins is sitting at 11-7. They're playing their heart out. Coach Lee's doing an amazing job with those boys, with Gavin Gibson, Aiden, I call him Aiden Hey Dudes, and Mason Webb and Dakota Johnson, Matt Morris. I mean, those guys, Braden Sexton, who's phenomenal point guard. Those guys are hitting the grind. But listen, I don't think they'll blame me. I don't think Coach Lee. I don't know. He may call me after. He probably will call me. He's definitely call me after.
Yeah, no, don't.
Give me the Hazard Bulldogs in this game. I'm sorry, guys. Moving on, we've got Perry County at Letcher.
Give me Letcher, and for the sole fact that Perry County is also in a slump. They're 8-8 on the season. LCC is what 7-7. So I mean, we really don't know who can come out on top of this, but I'm rooting for LCC to come out on top of this because they very much so need it.
He was so confident too. He's saying Letcher's record. He was like, they're 8-8. They're in a slump. Then what's Letcher's record? 7-7.
I'm never going to bet against my Cougs. Give me Letcher here. I watched the game Perry played against Hazard. The game, it just wasn't Perry's game.
It's at Letcher, and the momentum's going to be high. And
Cougar Crazy is going to be out.
Cougar Crazy is going to be out. But guess what? Give me the Commodores. Give me Coach Sheridan Hoskins, Kaiser Sloan, Ridge Beverly. Give me the Commodores. They're coming into Coug Country, and it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a 3, 5, maybe 7-point game, if that. But give me it's at 3-7. 3-7 point game. But give me the Commodores. I'm taking Perry Central over Letcher in this game. Floyd Central at Lawrence County. Who you got?
Give me Lawrence. That's another top 5 team on my list right now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they are. You know what? I am sure. And they're actually a top 3 team on my list.
Okay,
so
we're just double checking.
Yeah, no, double check, triple check.
Your 9's beating your 6, and I just wanted to make sure your 8 wasn't beating your 2.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not. Lawrence is gonna come out on top of this one. They're a very good team.
I am very high on this Floyd Central team. I got to play against them when I was playing basketball for LCC. Yep. I'm very high on them. They got a kid over there, Ronnie Simmons, I think is his name.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he is a bucket.
He is.
Chris Briggs is
They got the point guard. I played against him in JV.
Chris Briggs is good, man.
I'm
Shout
very
out to
high
Chris
on them.
Briggs, dude.
And I'm gonna stick with Floyd Central.
Yeah, well, I'm high on all those guys too, but it's at Lawrence.
Yep.
I think Lawrence gets it done at home. I think Floyd eventually beats them, but I think at home, I don't think they're going to beat them at Lawrence. So give me Lawrence. Moving real quick, Belfry at Pikeville.
Pikeville.
Yeah, I'm taking Pikeville too. Okay. Moving on, we've got Paintsville at Prestonsburg.
Wow. Give me Prestonsburg. I'm sticking with them. Prestonsburg.
I'm going to go with P-Burg here.
I'm going with Paintsville. Last one. This is the last one. Give me Johnson Central at.
Did they play twice? Because we already got them up here.
Who?
Johnson Central and McGoffin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've already made that pick. Well, I guess that was our last one.
Well,
I must
we
just
got
put
9.
2. We've only got 9 games this week. That's another error on my end, guys. Errors on my end. Sorry, guys. Listen, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Next week, we're going to have the Breathitt County Bobcats, Coach Jeff Honeycutt, and I'm assuming he hasn't told me what players he's bringing yet, but I'm assuming he'll bring probably Enemy and Sperry. I would assume that's who he would bring. So you guys are not going to want to miss the jam-packed show. And later on, we've got a special show that's in February, guys, that you guys aren't going to want to miss, the legendary show. We're going to take retired coaches, bring them on, and hear their stories. Share their stories with us right here on Coach's Corner. And you're not going to want to miss some of these old-timers, guys. We've got some, and no, we're not announcing any names until the week of.
Mystery.
It's a mystery. It's a secret. And listen, guys, we appreciate you being here. Hope you had a great holidays. We'll be back next week with the Breathitt County Bobcats.
Love you guys.
I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, co-host Big E. We'll catch you next week.